Hello, you're listening to the Eric McKenna Project.
Who, me? Come on. All right, cameras are on. We're starting. All right, guys, gals, thank you. Appreciate you doing this.
Thanks.
I'm getting evil eye over here.
Well, it's like the second time in 3 days. But.
It is, yeah. Mandi and I sat down, did a one-on-one show. It was pretty damn good, and I'm editing it as we speak. Lots of things to discuss. We did spend some time off camera, and we that was a podcast in its own right in there. But there was no cameras, of course. I do want to bring up a couple topics, and we'll just see where they go. This is an anything goes show, you know. And first thing I want to do is I want to go around and just ask, if I can, how are you doing? How has the pandemic been, Nathalie?
Well, lately better because everything's opened.
Is it?
Not everything's open. It's opening up, put it that way. Things are getting better. Masks are getting less. But during the pandemic, a little hard being I work from home, have the kids at home, schooling at home. It's very stressful.
How is stay-at-home education for the kids?
I have to be teacher, mom, and computer analyst all at the same time, plus do my job.
How'd that go?
Stressful.
I bet.
Stressful. It was very stressful for a minute. But my son, who is fantastic with computers, always helped with Sophia. Sophia has breakdowns, and then she breaks me down because I'm on a conference call, and I can't help her because Wi-Fi went down. So it was a little stressful for a little bit. And then the good thing is my company was very supportive.
Okay.
The teachers were not so much. I was a little agitated with that because yes, my Wi-Fi went down, and they told me that Michael was absent. I said no, he's here, but the Wi-Fi went down. Well, he's absent now. He has detention. No, he doesn't have detention.
How exactly do you do detention when you're virtual school?
3 hours.
Turn
3
the
hours
camera
on a
off
Saturday. 3
for an
hours.
hour.
3 hours on a Saturday, and you turn the camera off, and you sit there, and I have no idea. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Detention for virtual schooling.
For virtual schooling, but
okay.
They're back in school. Things are better.
How's that working? I mean, did they go back immediately at full schedule, or are they like a couple days a week?
Mine went back full schedule. Okay. Sophia has always been back in school, except for the first 9 weeks, I think. Michael stayed home the second 9 weeks, which was very easy because he's very easy to deal with. This past 9 weeks has been a little bit hard because Michael will wake up and he'll have a headache, and I take his temperature and I keep him home. Do I keep him home? Do I make him go to school? So then I monitor him, and I'm like, how long do you stay up? And were you up at 11:30, 12 o'clock? Is that why you want to go to school? But
of course, Mom, sure. Of course.
But when he wakes up and he's got a headache, I keep him home. He's got a fever, a little bit of a whatever. And I don't know if that's because the air conditioning doesn't flow up to his room, because it doesn't in my house. I don't know why.
Right.
But I'll send an email and everything. So the schools, for the most part, are pretty decent about them staying home, being virtual, but it's very hard on a single parent.
I can't even imagine. You're back opening the gym. I mean, how's that working right now?
So we opened back up January, and
bring it a little closer to you, buddy. You can bring the whole damn. You can move this whole damn thing. There you go.
Open back up January.
Yep.
And so last month I made the decision, no mask, right? Before they said no more masks.
How'd that work?
Because I got so much pressure, man, from everyone.
From
saying,
the members?
From members saying, like, we're done.
Okay.
No more masks. I said, okay, I think we're done. Like, rip off the Band-Aid. Let's do it, right?
Okay.
And then it's been a gold rush. We did a ton of marketing campaigns. Everyone's out. Like, we did the half marathon, 10K, 5K at Helicon. It was a big event. We had 135 people come out, and everyone just keeps coming back to us saying, like, we just love everything you're doing. Like, we're trying to do everything right.
Right.
We were trying to do it right by COVID, right? With all the mandates and everything. And I remember stuck with us. They were like, dude, we'll do it. We'll do whatever you want, you know? Let's do it. And finally, like, I just said, enough's enough. Like, let's pull the Band-Aid off. No more masks. No more masks for kids. I was getting, I mean, you wouldn't believe the stuff that I get 24/7. We have advertisements out with kids, mask on. Please do your research. Please, you have no idea what you're doing to these kids. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's not me. You know, it's not me. I'm just trying to follow the rules.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They're putting out there, and we're trying to play ball with everyone, you know?
What is the enforcement for like a gym owner? What would you face potentially? Would it be the local municipality? Would it be the county to come in? What would it be?
Zero. Like, I'm not worried about any of that.
Right, I get that.
Yeah,
But I'm saying what is the liability?
I honestly don't even know. I have no idea which law enforcement would even come in or do anything. I know the LCB next to me, like Fort Pitt's worried about LCB. They've been there and they search them 24/7. But for us, like, I could care less. Like, I have no idea who is coming in to enforce it. It's just more of a, what should we be doing? What's the right thing to do?
Absolutely.
It's such a hard question to answer. Like,
the mandates, they're irrelevant. You're trying to do what's actually right based upon the current situation for your members.
Right. And I'm trying to figure that out.
Right.
Based on, like, what I know, not the political climate, not like these extremists, like all these viewpoints. I'm just trying to figure out what is right for people. And so I played ball. I told everyone, mask, everything, do that. Like, let's wear the mask. I don't want my trainers to get sick. I don't want my customers to get sick. And everyone was frankly sick of it, because everyone in the area, all the gyms in the area, the privately owned gyms in the area, all went no masks 4 months before I did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And all the members were like, hey, all these gyms are...
Now, did they say on the door, did it say you had to wear a mask?
Literally.
They just weren't doing it?
No, they literally were like, we're not wearing masks. Mandate, boom, we're done. Not wearing masks.
Okay.
So a lot of those members came from those gyms.
Got it.
And we're like, hey, my old gym's not doing that anymore. Why are we doing it? And I'm like,
yeah,
what
a cluster.
Trying to play ball.
What a cluster.
Yeah, it's crazy. But, I ripped it off. I said, no more mask. At 3 weeks before the governor said no more mask, and
the grand poobah.
We made it optional. We just made it optional. Yeah, like, I mean, if you want to wear a mask, if you feel like you're at risk, wear a mask.
Of course.
Our trainers are still wearing a mask.
Got it.
But it was at the point that it's just, we got to get on, you know.
And it's been so long since I spoke with you.
I know.
I mean, like, I've totally forgot how you're doing.
I think I fell asleep, and then somehow I woke up and I was still here.
Sorry, baby.
I was like, all right, well, I'm sitting here, so let's chat. Let's talk some more.
But you told me you were so good at talking.
Thanks for having me back on. Oh yeah, I'll talk for days.
Thanks for doing this.
I will. And I was going to say, my gym, you know, I've been back there. I actually think I started back there in January or maybe February. And, you know, I go in there, I'll say the guys on the floor have not been wearing masks for there was 1 week where my gym was like, you have to wear masks, you will get kicked out. If you are not, that's it. And everybody wore masks for 5 steps, and then they took them off anyways. Yeah. So I wore my mask, and I only went on the elliptical because I could spray it all down, stay away. And I was just going in for not to get fit necessarily, just to...
Flirt.
You know, not flirt. Just for a good mindset.
What you should have done is gone on the elliptical, worn your oxidometer thingy on your finger, and then say, okay, so this is what's happening. So I'm down 5%, which is actually very unhealthy for me. So wearing a mask, working out is not working very well.
Yeah. The last time I was in,
I have no idea what you're talking about. What?
Because it's hard to breathe.
OxyClean? What? Oxy something.
It's a thing you put on your finger, and it takes your oxygen levels. Yes.
Yeah.
And
never heard of it.
So if you take that and you put it on your finger, right, if you're down to 97 or 96%, you're actually at a bad level of oxygen while you're working out, which is most likely you're walking in with that because you have the mask on.
Absolutely right.
Oh, yeah.
So, which is very dangerous.
Yeah, I would think so.
But I would stay away from the free weights just because there's been hands on them all day. And I will say that my gym is not the best at the upkeep. I'm just saying. So, at least I could spray things down.
You might be going to the wrong place.
probably going the wrong
I have
place.
belonged to this
Definitely
gym.
going in the wrong place.
I have belonged to this gym for
Same.
I think it was 2000 and, I don't know, like 15 years. Like that's the only reason, because I don't have to
So that they monogram your
start.
own set of barbells in there? I mean, what?
I have golden barbells in the corner hanging
Okay.
on the wall, you know.
Okay.
Mine are bronze.
I don't. No, I've been there for so long that I just am like, okay, well, you know, I'm just doing this. And I do like the one class, which is fun. But it's nice that now, you know, I can go in and I'm like, I don't have to wear a mask and I'm allowed to take classes again. Like that's opened up according to the CDC. And, you know, I'll probably still sanitize just because. I
Okay.
mean,
You should sanitize. I mean, you should sanitize regardless because
Yeah.
you can get that gym crud on your, you know, what is
Yeah.
that? That stuff that you get from sweating and you.
I can see that like right
don't know.
now. I'm
crust.
No, it's
I don't
like
know.
it's a fungus kind of thing that you can
Ew.
get from the other person's sweat. If you touch that and then you touch yourself, then you have to go to the dermatologist,
just like if you didn't wear
MRSA?
sandals in college in the shower.
right? And then you get athlete's feet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or other stuff.
You shouldn't be looking like that. You should be the expert on this stuff over here. You're looking over like you've never heard of this stuff before.
Well, I've never heard
Gym
sandals in
crust.
college.
You always wear if you
Gym
go-
crust and sandals in college.
Yeah.
If you go camping,
Sorry, I'm not
don't
an
you wear
expert.
sandals in a shower?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know exactly what
Look, if you're going
fungi
into a
you're trying to prevent.
if you're going
Athlete's
into a
feet?
damp dorm bathroom, you
Right.
definitely want to wear something on your feet.
I get it.
It's nasty.
I get it. I wear shoes too, but I don't know what I'm supposed to
I'm
wear.
confused. Okay, so I'm hearing about OxyClean and I'm learning all kinds of things today.
We're moms. That's what we do. We share our cleaning tips and
Okay,
products.
all right. So
Can't help it.
at what point in this year-long process, 13-month process, were you when you realized, based upon things you were experiencing or what you heard, that, you know what, these sons of bitches have been telling us that, you know, we can't touch things, we're cleaning everything, but now I'm getting the feeling that it really is just airborne and we're doing ridiculous. Now, gyms are different, but in life in general, it's ridiculous to start scrubbing every damn surface 25 times a day. At
Don't.
what point did you get there?
I didn't do it anyways. I didn't do it regardless. I would go to the store, I'd wear my mask, and I would bring wipies.
Okay.
So if I'm using a card, I'd hand that off just because I'm going back home to my kids and I want to make sure that I'm clean. I never wore the gloves because that's the dumbest thing ever, because
agreed.
guess what? You're going to wear gloves, they're going to be sticky, you're going to touch something, that person's going to touch it. So everything you touch with your gloves, it's going to stick to your glove, and then you're going to touch all these other
course.
items, so you're going to bring that stuff home. So I never did any of that stuff. I had wipies in my car, wiped my hands off, wiped my steering wheel off, and then I got home. I did not, and that's the extent of it.
Yeah.
That's all I did.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I didn't bring anything home to my kids. That was my main concern.
Got
And
it.
one of my friends, Frida, who's also older, 76 years old, I wanted to make sure I kept her safe because we always hung out all the time. So for me, it was more about, and I've done these things to begin with. So realistically, everybody should know, always wash your hands,
You
no
think?
matter what. You do it when you go to the bathroom. You should do it when you come home from the store, regardless, because you don't know what kind of germs you're bringing home anyways.
Well, that's the new in thing
Yeah.
to do. Wash your
Right.
hands.
Right. And I mean,
course.
you would think that should have been it back in the day. I'm just putting it out there.
Restaurants have to give instructions to their employees to
Right,
wash,
wash
their
your hands.
while they're in the bathroom.
Well, I mean, I was
Fantastic.
absolutely crazy in the beginning. I was sanitizing, wiping, cleaning, bleaching, everything. I will say, however, my son had to wear a mask to daycare. So he got a Skittles for wearing a mask. It was our healthiest year ever. There was no stomach viruses. Half the colds were caught. I was like, can you, like, little beautiful, wonderful, boogery little kids, please wear masks every winter so I don't get sick? Like this, it was the healthiest year we've ever had. So there is something to be said for it. Did we all need to go absolutely insane in the beginning? We didn't know. I mean, my mom she's in her late 60s and she was living alone, and I was like, you have to come live with us. Like, I don't want you being alone. We didn't know anything. And I worried about her. And, you know, I worried about her so much and the kids so much. And I was like, well, I'm fine. I'm like in the, you know, that
But don't you
you
think
feel fine
that
as an adult.
as a mom that your kids need germs to build their immune? Because that's how I look
do.
at things. Because I mean, for me, kids need, everybody realistically needs the germs to build immune, right? So even with this COVID, you still need to build your immune against this, and you can't do it unless you are out there.
Live.
I mean, you can't, correct.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
can't stop.
we had 2 COVID scares where I had a direct contact and my son had an indirect contact the same week, and then they both got fevers, and I was like, oh, well, we might have it,
Right.
and we didn't. We actually didn't. So they got a couple illnesses, nothing that severe, but I do think that kids get sick and they just get
Well, they're
sick.
gonna.
Yeah,
But they need to, though, especially 20 months
20 months.
teething. You're always
Yeah.
going to have, I mean, realistically.
Hands in the mouth.
Correct.
24 hours
Correct.
a day.
So, yeah.
So I'm going to bring up a really bad point. It's
I
going to
was-
make everyone really mad.
This is what I count
This is
on
really
you for,
exciting.
buddy.
It's going to make everyone really mad. Unless you were at super high risk, you should purposely be trying to get COVID because your body doesn't have antibodies against it. So you literally should want your kids to get COVID.
I
Hands
think
down,
they're
100%.
going to get it anyway.
As I just said, you should build the only way to build up your
The
immune
reason
is
this thing is so bad is because nobody has antibodies against it. And there are some people that are protected. I don't know if we want to get in that conversation or not. There are some people whose bodies are protected against COVID. There are some people that are not. Expose everyone that's at safe risk. I get it. Like, there's people that died, and it's really, really sad. It's
It
super
is.
sad.
It is.
I'm not taking away from any of that. But to hide from this thing and to go hide behind a shot, it's not good. We don't want that. We want antibodies. Your body is a mechanism. It's built to fight diseases. But it needs to get exposed to them some way or form, like the flu. Like, we get shot with the flu every year. You're getting shot with the flu when you get the flu vaccination, right? They're actually injecting the flu into your body.
Does that not happen with COVID? Or
It does.
Well,
happen?
it
So-
will happen now. Like, they're
Okay.
going to do that every year. But if your body can do it naturally,
Right.
let it do it
Right.
naturally.
Right.
If it can, let it. Let your body respond to what's happening.
But
and
I
fight.
think at the same time, because the numbers have been so high, that's why they created the shot. Is because people's bodies aren't fighting it like a
100%.
normal.
I'm not against the
flu.
shot. We absolutely need the shot. 100%. I'm just saying, if you're at a point where you haven't gotten COVID yet and you're on the fence of whether or not to get a shot, don't get a shot. Because you probably were exposed 3,000 times. Your body's got antibodies against it.
Well,
Go get an antibody
I
test.
personally I gave blood 2 months ago and did not have the antibody.
Yeah.
So
And you still didn't have it?
no, but my cholesterol was high, so I
But-
really got to cut back on red meat.
my ex-sister-in-law went to the doctors, and it showed that the COVID, she had gotten both shots, and it showed that the COVID antibodies were actually working in her bloodstream.
Well, I have to wait 120 days, so I think there's a Vitalant blood drive coming up at the Crown Plaza in July, by the way. But that's the next time I'll be able to give blood is around that time, and I'll be able to tell if I have the antibody now.
That's what it was. It was giving blood. That's what it was.
Yeah, so please give blood if you want to find out if you have antibodies.
Are
and
you
save
gonna go?
lives. For what?
Yeah.
July to go
Yeah.
give blood?
Oh, absolutely.
Will you text me?
I will.
Thank you.
It's through the Grand Residence.
This show solves problems. Connect people,
Problems.
solves problems.
Well, it's for a
amongst
good
other
cause and it
things.
solves problems. So
Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. Okay. All right. So now that we got the whole COVID thing out of the way here, in terms of how you all managed through it, let's talk about the next year. So I'm a big music guy, live events, sports, and so forth. So I'm jonesing to experience live music again. I'm jonesing to go fly out to Oakland to watch my A's play baseball. Things are starting to open up. Are we still in a transition period this year? Would you say 2020 will be the year that the world gets quote unquote back to free form normal, or will we really never kind of
said
get back?
2021.
I'm sorry, 2022, excuse me. We're in 2021. Will 2022 be the year that we somewhat kind of get back to quote unquote normal?
Yes.
yes, the outdoor shows for music are coming. There's going to be a lot of outdoor shows this summer. Indoors, I mean, Andre Bocelli is coming, and he is an older gentleman, and he's
Yes.
doing indoor. So that is in the winter at PPG, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on that one. Oh, I'm going. You gotta
That's
go.
what we
He's
do here.
amazing. I mean, I like all different types of genres of
Of course,
music,
of
but
course.
just saying that somebody's doing an indoor, large arena event.
But I think
says
they wouldn't even
something
make
for
venues.
what they're projecting.
Right. I don't even think they would make venues if they thought that COVID was going to be high again and so forth. I don't even think they would.
Well, and the
permit it.
off-Broadway productions are coming back into the cultural district. So there's, it's starting to open, but I do think it'll be 2022 before it's like really full back. I think because everybody wants to see what happens now that it's summer and flus tend to go away anyway
Right.
in the summer. So see what happens in fall.
What's your thoughts over there?
I think from a concert perspective, fan perspective, getting back in the arenas, it's all coming back for sure. 100%. 2022, it's going to be awesome. We're going to open back up.
Yeah,
For sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I
Country
can't either.
concerts.
I can't either. There seems to be a rumor out there, though, that I want to bring up that society's going to operate at least for the next 18 and 24 months, potentially on a ticket that you'll need to have, and that's going to be a vaccination card. And I'm not saying that I'm hearing this as fact. This is just
I
what's
heard that
being
too.
floated
It's
out
true.
there. How do you feel about that, and do you think that's reality?
I think it's going to be impossible to regulate like that. I mean, they're already saying you can go into Target without anything and not wear a mask.
No, but the thing is, though, so this is my problem with the ticket thing. I can go, so I have one, okay, but I can go ahead and make a duplicate of my ticket and give it to her.
Yeah,
Well,
it's not
It's easily fraud.
It can be
fraudable,
very
yeah.
easily fraud. So everyone's going to do their own thing regardless. And I mean, they say that in order to be on a plane, to not wear a mask or to do whatever, you have to have your ticket. In order for future flights to go on, you have to have a ticket. Do I think you should have to have a ticket? No. Because think you have the right to go wherever you need to go. My family, I have no family here in Pittsburgh, not one person. So they are all overseas, or my brother's in South Carolina. If I didn't get vaccinated, I should be allowed to fly with a mask on if that was the case, if masks were still required to go
They
fly.
still are, I believe.
Correct.
You still
Right.
even if you're vaccinated,
But-
you're still wearing a
Right,
mask on
right.
the plane.
Realistically, anybody can duplicate those tickets and put them in a plastic thing and get them looking like a license or whatever else. And
Well, there's no picture, there's no
correct.
hologram,
No,
there's nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
So what
It's
makes
now
you
the
think
flu.
right?
It's the flu.
So
COVID-19 is now the flu.
It's now the flu.
It's
Yeah.
now the flu.
Yeah.
Based upon the infection rate,
Right.
it's certainly, from at least what I'm reading, that is supposedly news, is it's at a very low infection rate now, new infection rate.
It'll be, so they'll do this stuff for a while where
Right.
they ticket people, go to events, but it's going to be months, and then it's going to be the flu. It's something that you have or get, and they have a vaccine for. They have a shot for, and you're done.
So without us talking like politics left versus right, because I think we can do this discussion without that. We obviously as a society need to do something in unison. And that's hard to do in this world because everybody's got their own tribe or their team or their thoughts or their ideals or, heaven forbid, their fucking rights. But we need to have a plan as a society, and I think we have it militarily in this country. I think most people realize, boy, if we get invaded by Canada, our military is going to kick their ass. Well, we don't have really a concise plan for this, and this was another attack of a different kind, and we really kind of piecemealed our way through, trying stuff. Some worked, some didn't, fighting amongst each other, fighting amongst groups, whatever. It didn't work. The way we responded to this COVID, overall, as a people, as a human species, it didn't work. So can we fix it? Will it be better? Hopefully the next 100 years this happens again. Do you think we have the capacity to put plans in place that we don't make the same mistakes again?
I'm going to piss everyone off. We are the strongest.
What else is
we
new?
are the strongest nation in the world because of our military. We are the weakest nation in the world because of our society. We live in a comfortable
I
society.
agree with you.
And we are weak.
I
We are
agree with
the
you.
weakest society in the world. We are lucky that we have Marines and Navy SEALs and Army Rangers.
And where we are geographically, we're surrounded by water.
Geographically is huge.
Yeah, no doubt.
Our natural resources are huge.
Yeah.
And
our brain trust is huge.
Yeah, brain trust. And we had great leaders. Years ago, hundreds of years ago, that found this nation. We had great people that built it. And we are protected by the best men and women in the world. Navy SEALs, Marines, Army Rangers. We are the weakest society in the existence of the universe.
Okay, and give me examples of why you feel that way.
Because people don't want to work. They don't want to show up. They don't want to do anything to better themselves.
They make more unemployment.
I don't agree with that. I think
unemployment's at a all-time.
Right.
I do agree with that. But I think it's different levels. I think it's definitely more the hourly wages.
That's not true.
The executive positions are filling up constantly. I work for a chamber of commerce. Like the executive positions are always gone.
It is a problem.
It's the hourly that it's a problem. They're having issues.
But teenagers right now are making $15 an hour working at McDonald's.
Yeah.
You've got somebody that's been with a company for, let's just say, 10 years. And they started off at 12. They're making let's just say they're making 22. So you've got a 40-year-old man making $7 more than a 14-year-old teenager or 15-year-old teenager right now. Most people aren't working, and everyone's looking for hires because everyone's making money off sitting on their ass at home because they don't want to work. They're making more money sitting at home.
It's a problem.
Which is ridiculous.
For sure.
So my thing is, should we pay these people? No, we should not be paying people unemployment because they want to sit at home, sitting on their ass when somebody needs help.
Even beyond that, people are just comfortable. We're way too comfortable.
Well, this is long before the pandemic.
Way before the pandemic. We are such a comfortable society. Everything's
We're
so
spoiled.
comfortable. Go to any, I forget where it was, but there was a third world country and Brad Pitt had been there 3,000 times. And then he said, we're nowhere near, you guys have no idea what you're talking about when you talk about third world countries. You have no idea the pain, the suffering, and the that's going on every single day, 24 hours a day. Tim Tebow is in every country all the time, working with these kids.
I love Tebow.
I mean, Tebow's awesome.
He is.
There's so much. We are living in the easiest times of the history of the world. With the global pandemic happening this past year, it was a nightmare. We were still in the easiest of times in the history of the world.
Yeah, okay, so I'll throw my own 2 cents in here. I agree with you, but I'm also an American who is not going to make apologies for the fruits of the capitalistic system which we find ourselves in. I'm not going to make apologies for that. We are the strongest, and we are in terms of brain trust, and we have the most freedom. Everybody wants to come here. So all that's positive. I agree with you 100%. that we're very sedentary. I agree we're very spoiled. I agree that we're both sometimes very physically and mentally lazy because of the creature comforts of this capitalistic system. I get all of that. And we also are the most generous. Whether we want to give that money away in our taxes or not, but we also are the most charitable. All those things are brought upon by the capitalistic system, I believe.
100%.
I won't make apologies for that, but I will say that I do believe that within the framework of our society, we have permitted and encouraged at times complacency, heaven forbid, I'm going to say it, laziness, lethargy. Is that a word? Lethargy? Lethargic behavior. I think the encouragement of being industrious was there decades ago. I think in our society, it's no longer there because it doesn't take a lot of money or a lot of opportunity to be comfortable. I mean, if you really don't want much, you still can have an iPhone. You can have a 1-bedroom apartment with cable television, and you can do that on a pittance.
Right.
It's easy to be comfortable in this society. The fruits of capitalism gave us that, but it's also yielded a lot of problems, and the pandemic further exacerbated that to all of us.
I'm going to disagree for a minute because I think it's bullshit that I work 40, 50, sometimes 60 hours, depending on what I need to do for my company. And then I'm at line. And then I have somebody that's got a rack of steaks paying with their access card.
I've been there too.
So my problem is that I can't afford those steaks half the time. And for us to sit there and give somebody always a free ride when they are healthy and they are young and they are able to work is bullshit. And I am so sorry. It's different if you have become a single parent and you can't afford daycare and, you know, you lost your husband, you lost your wife, something like that.
But I think
that's one thing.
I think we both agree with that, though.
100%.
That's not.
But in the same sense, yeah. But to me, I think that right now our problem is the unemployment problem is a huge thing. Everyone's getting paid, sitting on their ass at home because they make more money.
Well, not everybody, but a good portion.
A lot of people.
Well, not everybody, but I would say a good portion of society, especially your hourly workers that were able to qualify for, and some independent contractors that qualify for benefits. I think the benefits that were given are out of control. I think it's typical politics where they keep kicking the can down the road. Administrations change, both state and federal, and they just keep layering the benefits out there. I get that. It sucks. I wasn't for it to begin with, but it is what it is. But I will tell you, I still believe that the benefits are needed for a certain portion of our society who really need them. And for me to paint, I can't paint with such a broad brush. I've been in a line at Walmart, and I've seen exactly what you said. I've seen public funds paying for groceries while they have iPhones, and I even saw a Rolex watch. It might have been fake, but I've seen it all. I've seen it all. Okay, I get it, and I get it, and there's injustice within there. But I think the system, that's an example where the system's broke, and I just wouldn't want to eliminate benefits like that.
For everyone.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Here's the thing
agree
with
on
me is this year, financially, I was on partial unemployment. I took a third job, and those, the money that came in through unemployment and through those little bonuses saved my butt this year. Like, if without them, I couldn't have survived. They came in at exactly the right moment.
I agree.
But on the other thing is, I have no problem working. I love working. Employees or employers for years have said, okay, like say it's, a landscaping company or something of that seasonal nature. We need employees to work for the summer. Here's the wages. People were like, okay, they signed up, they took jobs. There is so many jobs out there. These employers need to start saying, what can we do to make this more beneficial? Not necessarily upping the amount, but whether it's benefits, whether it's good hours, they have to start getting creative on how they're recruiting. They can't just throw it out there anymore. Like, that is not how you're going to get employees in.
And that's how capitalism should work, right? But
they have to find a way to make it attractive.
Well, they're going to have to, or they're not going to make it.
As opposed to the competition.
Look at fast food now. It's just
not like, you're just not going to just hire people off the street.
But the government's not helping the system when they are making it so easy based upon the I hate to use the word, but free money or free benefits, that it discourages someone from getting an actual job or going back to a prior job that they just didn't like for whatever reason, because watching Netflix is more fun. I mean, I'm not saying there's a one size fits all. I just think that it's a perfect storm. It's the pandemic. We have politicians that just want to get votes, so they just keep giving. And it really is a pittance in the big society compared to what the upper echelons of society are getting, of course. But it does not encourage work. And that is, I think we have a real glut right now. And believe me, putting, which I completely disagree with, but putting the minimum wage at $20 an hour, trust me when I tell you, it's not going to solve the problem. You have people that don't want to work because it's easier to have the creature comforts. And let's face it, not everybody has a lot of intestinal fortitude to strive in this world. And that's okay. But we have a lot of them now that are have gotten very sedentary. And a lot of the public has gotten very, quote unquote, lazy, both intellectually and physically. And that's not going to serve us well. We need to shock the system, I think. And to shock the system is to cut the benefits. Not completely, but cut to a serious cut to the benefits to make people realize, kind of like what some politicians have done over decades when they've pulled back on welfare. And then all of a sudden, wow, people's employment
Is up.
Absolutely. I mean, that's human nature. It isn't that we're bad people, but if you give, people are going to take the path of least resistance in most instances. You and I have talked about that. It's human nature, right? Not everybody, but a portion. If you give everything away, there's no incentive to ever, I mean, you're saying to yourself, well, if I put some hard work in there, I might have that really fancy car. But if I lay on the couch, I can still afford that car. I can still get to where I'm going by just doing nothing. Right. The average human's going to take the path of least resistance. Yeah. I believe.
So for me personally, there are people that 100% need help. They need help. 100%.
And oftentimes they don't get it.
And I would never just
That's
come
the
from
issue.
Like I've had that personally in my family.
Of course.
We need help at times. 100%. But there are people that abuse it. And the thing is that we need to figure out a system where you're putting people in a position where they want to work. Like we just got to get people moving.
I don't think anybody wants to work. People say that, but human nature. I think that you put people in position to realize I can't survive unless I provide the effort. It sounds horrible. It's not horrible. That's the basic law of nature. You have to put the carrot. The carrot has to be there. If the carrot's not there, they're not going to get out of bed. If you pay somebody $400 a week, a single person $400 a week, they're going to find a way to survive, watch Netflix, and get
$400 a week. Yeah,
they're going to find a way. But if you realize
we found a way,
and again, this is not a personal thing.
Maybe they just buy them concert tickets once a month. Be like, you come to work for us. Here's tickets to this show.
I don't know. Employers need to be creative, though. I get that.
If you're trying to get the young people in, like, what are they after? What do they want? What is their mindset?
Anything that makes people realize that life is not a free ride, and that's the one thing that my parents and their parents' generation, life was never a free ride.
Well, what are you like when you're not working? What are you like?
I'm a weird animal, man. I can't be set there.
I like figure skating.
I can't do it. There you go. She likes to drill holes in the ice with her skates.
I really do.
So after that.
But what if you said to like a young kid, you work for my company for 6 months, you get a free iPhone?
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing that. So they're doing that. Realistically,
it's a great idea.
I went. So my daughter got her hair done today, and the girl that does my hair, Kathy, turned around and says that her daughters are currently working at McDonald's, and they're making $14.20 an hour. One is making $14.20, one's making $13.80 or something like that. Was offered to work at Giant Eagle, both girls, with a $500 bonus to get the job there, and within 1 year you get a free iPhone.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's insane to me.
But the incentive should be working in and of itself.
But
that's capitalism, though. I don't have a problem with it.
When people start working, they feel like they're useful. Doing something that's useful. It changes everything. It changes everything for them. And we just got to get people doing that. Like, we got to give people a reason to be up and moving. Literally, I've seen people. I've been like this.
Politicians have been trying to do that for centuries, man.
I know, but
we're just, as a species, we're going to take the path of least resistance. So until you make it painful or potentially painful, you're not going to get humans to act and put effort out.
And social media is so huge. Get your employees, like the good ones, to go on there and say, you know what, I love working for this company because it's great. It makes me feel good. They really take care. Like, use social media to say my company is great.
I'm going to put a twist on this because I know for a company, we'll put it that way, I've been with my company for a very long time, but we have a lot of micromanaging. So if I'm doing my job plus 150% of my quota, so let's say my quota is 50%, but I'm doing 150%, but yet you're questioning my work, So that's going to
Sounds like a management problem there.
in a sense it is. But so the thing is, management does not know what it is that the little people in the world really do.
It's actually their job.
They don't
They're
know though,
supposed to.
but they don't. So if I'm paying $1 million claim to process to go out to somebody, my system is not 100% accurate with their figuration of what's supposed to pay out. So I have to do all this research to make sure it's processing correctly, which means I'm going to spend about an hour researching this, that, and the next thing. But then it's going to take me another 2 hours to segment this claim. But yet my manager is going to ask me what I did for those 3 hours.
Right.
Don't ask me what I did for those 3 hours. If you know I'm doing the high dollar claims or I'm doing something that's going to take research and work, don't question me, because I'm still producing. And even though I'm supposed to do maybe 43 claims that day, and I've still done 120 claims that day, why are you questioning me?
Well,
so this is where people are starting to get pissed off now, because realistically,
sure.
for me, I'm doing more than what I need to do that day, plus I'm helping.
But that's a failure of your company. You
Yeah.
know, that's a failure of your
100%.
management
and you're
staff.
But
a
it's
free,
starting to piss
you're a
people
free
off.
person.
Well, sure it is. Absolutely. I would piss me off.
I mean, we are now, and that's what happens now, is because everyone's morale is down. And so people are like, well, you know what? I'm going to quit my job because I can go find unemployment. I can
they
go find
should.
another job.
They should.
And I can go train at Chad's gym for the same amount of money, if
They
not
should definitely
more,
do that.
realistically.
That's what they should do.
That,
They should do
that's a
that.
good point, though. One thing I will say about the spike we're seeing right now with traditionally entry-level positions, traditionally
Right.
summer jobs, traditionally jobs that a lot of youth would take as they started in the workforce. That's what I mean. When we're seeing $15, $20 an hour in those positions, now it is starting to rub price-wise in regards to salaries that people have been working at their jobs 15, 20 years. So yes, the lines are being crossed. But again, you could also make the argument that that's capitalism at work. It's just an issue of supply and demand. My issue is the government is fucking with it because they need to stay out of capitalism. But when you give so much in terms of benefits with really an unknown end, which is kind of what happened with forbearances and with the unemployment and the continuing extensions, the bonus unemployment. When you give all that with no end in sight, you have a lot of uncertainty. I'm in the real estate market right now, and I'm telling you now, there's a lot of uncertainty about forbearances, about why there's all this new money in the market, all these pre-approvals. Some of them don't really jive. Where is all this buying power coming from in a market that sellers are afraid to sell, even though they're going to make a fortune on their property? They're afraid to sell because they're uncertain about where they can go find a place to live. So it's a really interesting, difficult time.
Well, you
So
were
that's
asking before about like the concerts and like when things are coming back. And I think it's not going to be an on-off switch, especially with this. I think it's going to be a slow trickle. So maybe we'll stop getting those, those incentive bonuses. I forget what they're called right now. But, we can't just say, okay, well, employers really need employees, so just shut off benefits, because there's still people out there who really, really need it
shut them off,
because of the pandemic.
But it's got to be pulled back, though. They have to be. You can't continue to give away the farm and then wonder why no one wants to take jobs.
But masks were just taken away a couple weeks ago, so it is not going to be so immediate. Like, even though we all are like, this is what needs to happen, it's not going to be that immediate. It has to. As slowly as we come back to 2022, that's all going to come back.
Probably.
Hopefully. I mean, that's what
Probably.
we're hoping for.
Probably. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So,
Sorry.
no. I was going to say, so the S&P 500 for the last history of the entire S&P 500 has always gone up. So the safest
Minus a couple years
Well,
in the last decade.
Sorry,
but you're right, though.
I should caveat
It's
that.
it's a great investment.
I should
it
caveat
outperforms the market.
Always.
Yes.
100%.
Yep.
So it'll go down, but it will always go back up. The S&P 500 is always going up. If it doesn't, the United States stock portfolio is done. Like, there is no U.S. stock portfolio.
Right.
So when you're investing in Facebook and Twitter and all these things, you're investing in the S&P 500.
Right.
You're assuming that it's going to go up.
The new S&P 500, yeah.
Right, yeah. So it's going up all the time. S&P 500 is always going up. Safest bet in the history of the world. Go up, right? So these are the companies that are skyrocketing, right? And all the companies are behind them. So when the S&P 500 is going up, the U.S. economy is going up, right? We're all going up. So there should be some kickback to the employees some way, somehow, to make sure that all the employees are getting benefits of the S&P 500 going all the way up. Right now, we're in this is like skyrocket rates, right? We are doomed for a bubble. I don't want to break anyone's tears.
Yeah, that's
right?
cyclical.
Everything's coming.
In economics, of course.
It's like 2 or 3 years. We're going into a bubble. Like, it's going to hit, and everything's going to crash, and people are going to be sad for a while, and then it's going to go back up. Does it every like 10 years, 12 years, whatever. We're like 2 or 3 years out before a bubble hits, and then boom, back up. Whatever. It's great now, so we should be rewarding our employees for coming out and working for us, right? The bigger problem is the consumers are not fixing the problem. We have massive credit card debt. Massive. Every single person out there, we're at $15,000 plus credit card debt. We just keep thinking that we're going to make that money some way, somehow down the road. I don't know why we think that, but we think that. We've been tricked to think that, like, we live in this comfortable society where everyone thinks that someday we're going to pay it all off, and we're never going to pay it off. We're like,
Well, it's the prosperity illusion, you know. It happens. It happens in a first world country like this with this much success and this much capitalism.
And this much
we're
comfort.
comfortable. We're enjoying all the things of life, and and our mind is. It's kind of like when you date for the first time. Things are amazing. You're like, this is all these feelings, and in your little pea brain,
right?
You know
so
what I mean? If you're thinking with your pea brain, you're realizing, you know, hey, it's always going to be this fantastic,
right.
And then 2 weeks later, you know, you're ready to kill each other.
So instead of worrying about whether or not we're insulting people, we should say, and I'm not talking about the people that are struggling. There are people that are struggling. They need welfare. They need help. I'm talking about the people that are making $85,000 a year plus. That have a 45% debt to income. They are maxed out. Those are the people that have a problem with our society. Those are actually the people that have that are driving massive problems with our society, because they think that they have money, but they don't. They are super.
But this happened well before the pandemic, though. I mean, this is
well, it's going to keep
living.
happening. It's going to happen again, like it happened prior to 2009. It's going to happen again, because all the people that think they have money keep taking it all on. They have the 800 credit scores, and they're going to do it again and do it again. These are the people. I know so many people that make over $200,000 a year that are 45% plus debt to income. Which, if you don't know what debt to income means, 45% plus is bad.
Absolutely.
That's really, really bad, right? So they're buying big homes. They're doing all these big things. They think that they're running the fucking world.
Which is the perfect segue.
And they are the fucking assholes of the goddamn economy.
Perfect segue into social media.
Sorry.
Because
I didn't mean to go
social
on.
media.
Why do you look at me?
I'm just saying, well, because
I do know social media.
Are you the social media queen?
My marketing company, yeah. I'm pretty savvy.
Let's take what Chad said and create the being a victim or a participant, okay, of the social media illusion. Illusion of happiness, illusion of wealth, illusion of health.
There are the people causing
illusion
all the
of
problems.
Power, illusion of intellect. It's all an illusion.
And they're
because
not
it's
happy.
Not reality.
They're not happy. They're not comfortable, and they're the people that are driving the debt of the U.S. economy. They are the people that are taking out $30,000 in credit card debt.
I don't know about that.
100%.
Just people who post
100%.
happy pictures with their kids are driving the economic downfall of the U.S.
You took me back a step.
Only the cat pictures.
Those people are.
Wait, no, it's my dog pictures. Come on, my kids. I just posted this beautiful picture of Sophia with her hair.
I saved a turtle off the highway today and posted a selfie with it. Like, I was like,
You really did?
I saved a turtle off the highway this morning.
I will agree with
I'm just saying that
I'm gonna agree
the
with-
majority of the people you
Chad-
think that are so
Chad
happy
is
and
right.
so
I
safe
I
and so
have an
comfortable.
example. So I have had a
assholes
really
that
rough
ruin the
year.
economy.
But wait, I have a big following. I'm a social media person. I'm a public figure for the most part. And I had a really hard year. And I've had a, whatever. My pictures are always happy. Everybody's pictures are always happy. And the people who post unhappy, you're like, well, that's just way too much personal information. I posted less happy things. And a year ago today, let's say, I posted stuff that was kind of, memes and stuff that were,
about what's going
Shit.
on. Your
in
personal
part, I mean,
thing.
totally
Right.
didn't mean anything,
Right.
but oh my gosh, I got message after, are you okay? What's going on? You're not posting like yourself. You're blah, blah, and I'm like, okay. 1 month later, yay, I'm with flowers again. You cannot, it became harder to, say, oh, I'm going through a tough time to the public, because it is the public. It is the
But
public.
why would you want to say that to quote unquote the public?
Why
I mean,
not?
It's a great
Because it's
question.
a tough
That wasn't
time.
saying anything.
The
But
fake
you're
couple
saying,
is the destruction of our
so,
economy.
don't let your
Right.
don't let your shine dim or what, very vague stuff, but that's still, people know each other's social media
Right.
personalities, so when you deviate from that, they're like, something's really wrong here, they're not okay. I'm
I've always-
checking on them, they aren't okay, and you're like,
See,
It's so
I've always,
true.
so I've always
I
been
hate it.
neutral when I post stuff. I've never posted.
Yeah.
I've never posted bad stuff on my Facebook. You can go back years. Never posted about anything that's been a hardship per se, except
Yeah.
for when my mom passed.
Yeah.
That was a very hardship. That's different.
By the way, what I said had nothing to do with posting on
No,
social
no,
media.
I know that.
I'm just
But-
talking about
No, no, no,
no,
no,
he
no,
changed
no.
the
generic
topic.
couples.
But for me, I post neutral all the time. I post about my dog, my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I post even my my ex-husband, his girlfriend, and my house or whatever else is going on. But when I'm having a hard day, I'm gonna put that on there. And I will sit there and post like, okay, so I can only take so much. God, why you put so much on my
Oh,
shoulders?
yeah,
and blah,
yeah,
blah,
yeah.
I just
I get
don't
that.
I will
post.
post that. I
I
will
get
not
that.
post
I get that.
bullshit on social media. I'm not always going to be happy.
Right.
I just
And
don't
when
post
I'm
on
sad,
those
I'm sad.
days.
Right.
But my kids, my dog, my friends, my neighbors, whatever else is going on, make me happy. And
Yeah.
I'm going to post that because
As
I
you
want my
should.
friends to know how much I love them, how much I
As you
care, and so
should.
forth and so on. Is life good every day? Fuck no.
No,
Not
it's a
even little bit.
highlight reel. I mean, the social media is a highlight reel. I'm not
But-
saying it should or shouldn't be, but that's how it's used.
If somebody
Summary.
posts something stupid
Exactly.
on Facebook, am I going to comment on that?
Why'd you point at me?
Absolutely.
What's happening?
If someone points,
What'd you do,
if somebody
Mandy?
posts something
No.
stupid on
What'd you
Facebook,
do?
I post
Mandy.
stupid stuff on Facebook
I
all the
have
time.
a friend.
I'm fine with
I
that.
have a friend who has a sister who always posts something just that is dumb. And I will sit there and be like,
We get an example.
that is fantastic.
have you lost your fucking mind because you sound like an idiot? And
I
it's the
mean, I'll
same
throw
kind of
stuff out
thing.
there.
But I'm that person that, so even like, my friends that are a certain way, I will sit there and say, and they don't know where I'm at in life. I am either pro this or pro that. I will agree with you and disagree with you. It doesn't
Yeah.
make a difference. I'm not saying you're wrong, you're right. What I'm saying is you have your opinion on something, and that's your opinion. Don't force your opinion and call somebody an asshole because they don't agree with you, because I'm going to call you out on it and say, you come to my fucking door because I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And that's me. That's just how I am.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
Scared.
You should be. You are
I'm
my
scared
glad
neighbor.
he's
over
on
here.
that side with you because I'm.
But in the same sense, if you have a valid point, that's great.
Yeah.
Somebody else might have a valid point. It might be a different valid point than your valid point. So
Right.
I'm just saying in general, in this world, in today's day, we've got COVID. We've got so much political nonsense going on. We've got
We have Tiger
personal,
King.
We've got personal issues going on. But at the end of the
It's pretty
day,
awesome.
you and I are friends. I'm going to be there to back you
Well,
up.
I don't know. I'm a
Whether or
little
not
taken aback here.
you agree with me on certain issues or not, I will always be your friend. I will always have your back.
She's very loyal.
It's a
Very
fact.
loyal.
I'm a very loyal
I have
person.
those too.
But don't call me an asshole because I had a different opinion. And
course
don't
not.
call me a bitch because I had a different opinion. And do not call me, and I hate this word, It's an R word. I'm not going to even say it because I hate it.
Rachel.
R word.
Oh.
Hate it.
Rachel.
I was just throwing something out.
I thought you was headed for the C word there for a second, but
Well,
I mean,
I've been called that too. But my thing is, you better call it to me to my face.
and you
because
better
if
have
you
your
don't,
sneakers on because you need to run.
you need to run so fast. My thing is, you can have your own opinion. You can be
Rachel.
completely proud of who you are and your opinion.
Yes.
But don't call me a name because I don't agree with your opinion. I have my own opinions, and
Right.
it might not agree with you.
Right.
It might not, whatever. For the majority of the part,
There is something.
I
What
literally
I
have
do
a tribe
is-
of people that beat people up.
But
just like that.
What I do
We
is
chase
though,
people down.
I will agree with you to a certain extent, but I can also disagree with you. But then all of a sudden, I'm a Biden fan, or I'm a Trump fan, or I'm a German Shepherd fan, or I'm a
You're a German Shepherd fan?
no, I have a Doberman. He's the best ever. I'm a Doberman fan. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah.
So, but the problem is that you can have your opinion, you can disagree and agree with people. I can agree with you with certain things for certain issues. Your your German Shepherd might be better than my dog in certain ways, and my dog might be better than your dog in certain ways. But it doesn't mean that our dogs are both assholes or both the greatest dogs in the world. They just are just dogs.
We're just different, and we used to celebrate our
Correct.
differences, and now we use it as a
Right.
weapon.
And now the problem is, all of a sudden, there's like this name calling going on and stuff. And it's at the end of the day, are you serious about this thing? Because at the end of the day, when your house burns down, I'm going to be there to help you. When you lose your job, I'm going to be there to buy you groceries and help you pay your mortgage. When you
She said
losing
it.
my
She
job?
said it.
When you need
I'm not
a
losing my job.
you're not losing
when
your job.
you need a dresser moved,
Right.
Like,
you're
shit.
you're gonna meet some
call
random
Chad,
guy
right.
who owns
Yeah.
a gym, and
Yeah.
he's gonna
And
move
gonna
it
help
for you.
move
with
it.
you.
Moving a dresser
No,
tomorrow.
Thank you.
That's what we do here.
No, you're out. I'm in. I'm just
I
gonna.
got
You're
it
both
replaced.
coming. I'm not lifting a thing. I'm just teasing. You guys look way more buff than I am. Look at these string beans.
No, you've got great arms.
It's for baby lifting.
That's right.
Baby lifting.
Oh my
Baby
gosh! Like they just want me to twirl them, and like one's 50 pounds, the other one's 25.
Baby lifting is a thing.
It's like
That's a thing.
75 pounds.
That's a thing.
Of yeah, that's where these
My
guns are coming
baby
from.
is 14, and believe it or not, I still lift her.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can.
Well, the thing is, she likes to still do things on my shoulders, and she is as tall as me right now, and
Yeah.
I feel like my vertebrae has crushed a little bit. Like I've gone from 5'8" to 5'2".
Doesn't Pilates help that? Things can do that, right?
Pilates is rough.
I don't like Pilates.
Oh,
I don't
I do.
Pilates. No.
Pilates.
Oh my gosh, it's
I don't
not
have
yoga.
I don't have
It is
time.
hard.
Not
I don't have the
easy.
time. No,
is
no,
Yoga's not easy.
I'm not saying any of that is
A
easy.
little easier.
I just don't have time
Not
to
easy.
do Pilates, work out, take
No.
care of my kids.
They're
I
like
do fat men yoga.
That's right.
I don't know what that
Fat
is.
man yoga.
Sit on the couch and watch
It's
TV.
easier than regular yoga, which is easier than Pilates, which is what
Pilates
you're
is
doing.
like, okay, do a squat now. Hold that for 10 to 15 minutes. Then you're gonna squat lower now. Oh, and then hey, by the way, at the end, why don't you go on your toes? And then go lower.
great,
And you're
though.
shaking. Like you're shaking walking out of the class. You're like, I don't even know what just
I
happened.
think I want to pee my pants.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
so
Lord.
I don't need to
awful.
go any lower.
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. It's really hard. It is. I mean, it's good though.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I'm all for everything. I'm just so I like to work out.
Yes.
I like to do my little bit of cardio.
You don't put ketchup on steak, do you? You're not for everything, right?
No,
Okay.
I am
I
not.
know guys do
I'm just
that.
checking.
No.
I'm just
Do you wanna
checking.
hear
No,
about
You
it?
said
do
you're
like-
for everything.
I do like ketchup on my meatloaf on occasion.
Okay.
Meatloaf
Yes,
on
I
occasion,
agree.
ketchup. I have to say
Okay.
that much.
Oh, you said. I mean, you made a big painted blanket statement there. I'm just walking it back a
no,
little bit.
I'm
That's
very
all.
supportive for anybody that wants to do anything. I feel like I don't have the time to do everything, whether it's meditate, Pilates, stretch, all the time. Like, I feel like I need 3 to 5 hours to do all of that.
Okay, so, but
and
what
I
about the
can't
section of society now through COVID who has all the time in the
Nothing.
world and they do nothing
because they're lazy. They're
Nothing.
comfortable.
I don't always
Yeah.
think they're lazy. I think a lot of people also don't know how to get started.
That's bullshit.
That's not true though,
There's some-
because I'm gonna tell you something right now.
Really? They don't know how to get started?
If they've never worked out, they've never had a workout
You don't
plan.
have to work out. Go
There's a
outside
lot
your
of-
house and start walking around your neighborhood. There's a start. There's a start.
That's so boring. boring.
No, that's not true.
Oh,
Because
that's boring?
I'm not a walker or
That's all
like
I do.
runner.
That's all I do.
I think it
have-
is so. I need more.
So can I
stuff.
chime in here?
Please do. You're the expert.
So I think there's a such thing as proximity limitations. We talked about this a little bit, right? So all you know is all you know. So if you grew up as a farmer, all you know is being a farmer, right? So there are things that set into your mindset. If you grew up in a suburb and you're in the city and all your friends are doing is like dealing drugs and shit, you don't know that you're supposed to like get
Not
on this
do drugs.
better track, right? Like
Yeah.
not do drugs, not do this better track. There is what you both said is true, and that's the problem. Like, because you'll never agree, but you're both right.
I am never
So-
agreeing with you.
So
Dare you?
there are people that just don't know. Like, you have to get that kind of like kick in the ass a little bit and on the right track with the right people and the right proximity and the right book or whatever it is.
right.
You got to get the right mindset somehow, some way, somehow. You got to get on that path, and then it's up to you. But that's when you chime in. Well, there's a lot of people that've had that. They've had the right kick in the ass. They've had the right thing. They had the right book. They had everything accessible to them. They had the right everything.
No motivation.
And they're just like they suck. at
Say
it.
the word.
and
The
I
word
did-
is
They fucking suck. They're lazy. They're
laziness.
lazy.
We
That's
don't
not
want to
lazy.
say it because
I
it
do
hurts
think-
feelings.
I'm not
Fuck
worried
the
about her.
feelings.
I'm not worried about her
I
friends.
do
I
think,
fucking
though,
hate all of them.
when you're
I hate 'em
starting
all.
a
I talk about them
workout-
all the time. I'm
Okay,
like,
so
fuck
I'm
them.
gonna chime in
They're
for
eating
just-
a fucking donut
just
on
a
a fucking
minute.
couch right
That's
now.
not always
Donut.
okay. So
The
that's not
donuts.
always
I told
true.
my entire class today. I told
Donut.
40
Not
people.
always
I was
true.
like, you guys are out here. There's a bunch of people on a couch right now eating a fucking
Okay,
donut.
so
You
what
guys
I-
are out here doing this workout, doing a fundraiser for Make-A-Wish. You just made some kid's fucking wish come true.
Oh, yeah.
Because you guys got
called
off
effort.
the couch. You
called
made an
effort.
effort. You fucking came out. You did your thing.
And it isn't
You
always
But I
worked
in-
think
out.
there's room to eat
It was
your
awesome.
donut and work out too.
Okay,
And I don't think it should be so healthy or
At the
so
same
not
time?
healthy.
Eat your donut and then do cardio.
At the same
If you
time?
do an entire spin class,
I love you. I love you, girl. I love
if you
her
do
so
a
much.
spin class, at the
She's
end,
right, there
you should
is.
be handed a glazed
There
donut and be
is,
like,
yeah.
good job. Because it's not always to lose weight, keep
Yeah.
weight off.
No,
it's for
it's not.
lung
I'm
capacity
gonna-
and health.
It's
I'm
not.
gonna
You're
bring
right.
a
You're
different.
right.
I'm gonna bring
You're
a different
right.
thing up. What do you do when you have and you've worked out and you've always worked out, but you've gone through this?
I can't
funk.
take you serious with
I
that.
know. Wait, who stole my hand?
What funk?
Okay, let's just say you've gone through like a funk. Okay, let's just say you're going through. Okay, I'm gonna put myself out there because I can.
So you're going through a funk. Okay,
You're going
let's
through a
let's
funk.
just get real. Let's get therapeutic.
Okay, no,
Let's do it.
Let's say you're going through a change.
Okay.
Okay, so now all of a sudden you have.
I knew it was coming.
You've got hot flashes. You're lethargic. You've
That's
got
what
a
these hands will
period for
do.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
And you've got cramps and you're tired
Yeah.
all the time. How do you get motivated? And don't get me wrong, I know how to get motivated, but let's just say that there are a lot of women out there who have issues
Of course.
that you work all day long, you take care of the house, you take care of the kids, you walk the dog, you do whatever, and you're going through that whole change of life possibly, or maybe you are, maybe you aren't, I don't know, maybe you're just becoming a bitch. I'm not necessarily sure at this point in time, but all of a sudden you're in 1 month, you have a period, then you don't, but then you have another one, so you've had 3 in 1 month, and then you're tired, your arms so
Because
there
you
are
have to
people-
believe that it's going to make you feel better. Because it does. That helps with your hormones. It helps regulate your hormones. So you should be working
But where do you
out.
find the energy
You just got to do it.
I'm so confused right now.
to
I know, she's
work
looking at
out?
him.
Well, it's not that. It's because, some people do that in their 40s. Some people actually go through that in their 30s. But how do you become a person that needs to think strongly with these women and men that are lethargic or are
Put your body in motion.
or are depressed?
That's it.
Well,
That's
so
it.
now
That's
I'm
it.
kind of with him.
so
Like,
let's
what,
say
what are we
so what
talking
happens
about?
if you're depressed and you're
Put your body in motion.
maybe
You can be
on-
depressed and walk around. You can do that.
I agree. That's not what I'm saying, because I've told a friend
There
of
is
mine the
no
same
separate
thing.
answer.
But what do you do for those people that don't know how to motivate themselves?
That's
To
the
walk-
hard
to walk?
part.
Put on shoes.
To do anything, but what's their inspiration? What's their to go to? What's their what is going to make them want to make that happen?
They have to figure that out themselves.
But people don't want
agree.
to. They'd rather.
Well, then they can live and
Well, then
die
that's-
at the
yeah,
bottom of
and
base
That's the
camp.
problem. As we're going back around the circle, full circle
I use
right
the
now.
analogy and metaphor of a mountain.
No,
you can
no,
live
I
and
get
die
you
at the
100%.
bottom
I
of
get
base
it.
camp.
What you're saying, I get it. I just think I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you. I just think the bottom fucking line is you either want something in life or you don't.
Exactly.
And this is hard to say. You either want it or you don't. On a prior show, we asked the philosophical question, which I want to pose to all this group as well. When I was young, 17, 18, I got a lecture from a guy. Real simply, he said, listen, when you get out of college, you're going to get a job. You know, it might be a job working at McDonald's. It might be a job working in your field. But wherever you are is exactly where you want to be. Wherever you are in terms of your marriage, in terms of where you are, at what store you're shopping at, wherever you are at any point in time in your life is exactly where you want to be. You can say to strangers, to loved ones, to girlfriends, to children that you really don't want that. You'd rather be doing something else. In reality, in most instances, barring where you're born and some other examples of physical ailments and so forth, for the most part, whatever you're doing at that time, wherever you're living at that time, whatever you earn, who your friends are, who's important to you, those decisions were simply decisions that you either wanted it or you didn't. And you may say you want other things, but
you didn't
your
work for them.
reality doesn't show that. So basically, you are where you want to be. And I know that's hard for the gentle ears, the soft ears of Americans to hear that. I get it. It hurts. I don't like some of the things in my life, but guess what? I orchestrated those things. I chose those deficiencies in my life. I chose them. I own it. I know I could have done better. I didn't do it. It's on me.
Yeah.
I can own it. Most Americans don't want to be told, in my opinion, bad news, especially when it's self-reflective. And I think if people can just get past that and start putting their body in motion for any reason, I don't give a shit if they feel like ass. Walk 2 blocks and come home. Write it in a journal. Hey, you know what I did today? I walked 2 blocks.
Well, and I think,
How hard is that, man?
I mean,
I can't say anything because I walk my dog like 20 times a day because I don't have a yard and I'm
Yeah.
not let my dog run, so I have to run him.
Best monologue ever.
Yeah, but you're used to being in
I know,
motion
right?
though. But you're athletic. You used to be. People that are not athletic. And I weighed 70 pounds more than I do a year ago, and I wasn't very athletic at that moment in my life. I had to do something about it. And guess what? I'm not a rocket scientist, and I'm as lazy as they come. But guess what? Just fucking did it, and it was not hard. And all I did was put my body in motion. I didn't do all the other things I wish I would have, like lifting and so forth. I just walked, just get in motion. So when I hear very educated people, rational people that I know in my sphere just saying, "Oh my God, I can't do it. I need to lose these. I just can't do it." Yes, you can.
I think
you
it's
might not
really
be able to become a
hard to
nuclear
start,
physicist. That you probably can't do.
But that's the point. You have to start.
But you
You
can
have to
walk
get
down the street.
But you have to get past a certain
a certain what?
hill
2
before
weeks.
it's fun. Because it really, I mean, if you're doing like I'm using an MLM that I did. Those workouts are so hard.
But I'm not saying even do all that.
But once you get past a certain point, they're amazing and they do amazing things.
Yeah, but you're saying people can't get motivated to even start, and I'm
See,
just saying start by walking.
Yeah, but I don't like that.
I don't give a shit if people don't like
I don't
it. That's
like
the
walking.
problem.
Okay, here's why I don't like walking.
Then we don't have an. I don't have an answer for you.
I have a reason. So, I love my mother very much. My mother did not get her driver's license till she was 35.
Okay.
So I had to walk to the grocery store, I had to walk everywhere as a child, which sounds super fun, and some of it was, like to the ice cream store and stuff. But like I was so over walking and running and whatever. But I've always been athletic, so I've played every single sport.
Well, see, but you're
I
not.
still do.
But you're not.
But when you tell me, hey, take a long walk, I'm like, why don't you
I have
just
you beat. My mom didn't
Paint
have
the
my mom
walls
didn't have a
vanilla
driver's
colored.
license at all. And we walked to the store, got the groceries, and walked back. And I did that until I was 19 years old, until I got my driver's license. I didn't get my driver's license until 16. And then all of a sudden, you know.
You like to walk.
I was like, okay, now I'm driving everywhere, and I hate this. And I've always been a walker. And so I came from Europe, and why the Europeans are so much more healthier, because they walk everywhere. They go, they ride bikes and do everything. People just don't want to walk. My ex-husband, I'm gonna tell you something. He is 6'5", and he is 60 years old, and I have to give him kudos because he rides his bike for hours at a time. He walks the neighborhood almost every other day or every day. He has 10 acres, 9.7 acres maybe, in the backyard that he goes and hikes into. And I will tell you what, 60 years old, and he looks like he's 40. He's still in great, I mean, he's not in excellent shape, but he is in great shape for the most part for himself. And
but your
he teaches the kids the same things.
Yes.
And I do the same thing. I make my kids walk the dog and do things because my son wants to sit in his room and play Xbox all day long. So he gets ticked at me when I say, take the dog out and run him.
What?
But you made the comment like, well, what do you do for the woman who's going through menopause and can't all this on and a plate's
That's
full?
Hard.
Yeah, life's a fucking bitch for everybody.
It is, and you're right. But you have to understand something. You're not a woman.
I don't want to be.
You don't. You don't have babies. You don't have periods. You don't go through the change or the hormonal things or the.
But my argument's the same. If you want to do it,
it's not the same.
It is almost certainly
not always the same. You can't say that because women's bodies are different than men's.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something, Chad.
100% the same argument.
It's gonna be it's a different thing. I can work out.
You're putting feelings into this, and I am not putting feelings. This is a human decision. You either want something or you don't want something.
And I still. So this is the yes and no. But what do you do when all of a sudden you're 50 years old and you're starting to gain weight, and all of a sudden you lose your estrogen and you have no energy and you've got to go on this medication that makes you really tired? So. I'm just saying, like, I haven't gotten to that part yet. I don't want to get to that part. I'm still very active.
You're asking me what you do when that happens?
Yeah, man.
It's not going to happen to me, but I will. Because I'm
but in the same sense, you can't comment on it because you don't know what that person's going through in this sense because.
Of course I don't.
But he never did.
Right.
But I can comment on the fact that I believe all humans
have
will do
the right
what
thing.
if they want something. They just don't. I'm with you. I just think they don't really want it. And that goes. You can lust for something. It isn't just sex. You can lust to be healthy, lust to be thin, lust for a car. You can lust for things, but lusting for something doesn't really mean you want it, I believe, because if you want something, you're going to do it.
True enough. But so Robin Williams, depression.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that someone who's going through that whole downpour, who really wants to be better or work out or do whatever it is to make them healthier, but they just can't. They can't because maybe their equilibrium is off.
Absolutely.
Or maybe their brainwaves, something is wrong. So how do you support that if
I think
it's really hard because there are people that are on antidepressants or on anti-anxiety medication, but it's not helping them, and yet they're trying to make things better, but yet they're in such a dark place, but they really can't get out of it.
Yeah,
so
I'm not a mental health professional. I think those people deserve that health, and they should get it, and I support them getting it. As for pills and so forth, I support medication that works. But if it's not working, maybe taking a walk will be a good start.
And I agree. They've always said that the more you exercise, the more endorphin, the more you feel better about what's going on. The problem is, I think that some people have a hard time getting started, and for those people, they might not want it enough.
100%. These people,
but why? Why won't they?
I mean, I've said it before today. One heck of a year to the point that there was some major, anxiety and depression. I did try antidepressants. Awful. Worst thing I've ever done. I've never liked pills. And it honestly was changing my mindset completely and sucking down cups of positivity one after another every morning going, I'm grateful because this, looking at people online, seeing things could be even worse than they are.
Right. Always.
But it took every ounce of strength that I had to get out of that mindset. And I was to the point where I felt like Robin Williams, exactly. Because, my whole thing is every morning on Facebook for years, I would post a funny meme because I wanted to make everybody laugh every morning. I got there's enough inspiration.
But yourself.
No, they made me laugh too. But I was like, every morning I want everybody to wake up. There's enough inspirational quotes out there. I want everybody to laugh. So I would post that. But when it came down to it, it was basically crawling myself out of it personally.
Right.
To get myself out of it, which was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. But then it worked. And it wasn't a lack of motivation. You want to snap your fingers, go for a walk. I was working out. That didn't help. It was literally changing my mindset and just saying,
being more positive.
I'm done. And I'm going to concentrate on loving my family, and that's all I can do. And to anybody else who thinks
Decisions
there's something
are
wrong with
powerful.
it.
No, see, for
it
me,
was, it took a lot,
there
though.
are people that need help.
Of course. Of course.
And those people should know that they need help. And if they are listening to this,
hopefully
they should
can
reach
help.
out and get help.
Yeah.
100%. There are also 99% of the population that is the laziest fucking population in the history of the United States. They are fucking lazy. I'm sorry. They're lazy.
It's a harsh,
They're really lazy fucking people out there. And if they're listening, you're lazy. And everyone's going to love me for saying that or hate me for saying that. They're fucking lazy. There are people that need help. 100%.
But I think if you
100%.
If you don't sit down,
I help those people every single day. Believe me, I respond to 50 fucking text messages a day of people that are so scared to come to my gym.
But some
I have
are
to
scared
respond to them.
because of how others will judge them. Some
I
are scared
know,
because
and
they've
I
never
respond
done
to
it,
those.
and there's
I respond
fear.
to those 24/7. 24/7 I respond
And
to
helping
this.
people get past fear is absolutely commendable. It needs to be, and there's more people that
It
need to do
needs to
that.
happen.
I'm just saying, when you break all that emotion away, you put the feelings aside.
There
and
are
you can't
really
dismiss them.
fucking lazy people
But
out
But
there.
I didn't take.
It's still a choice.
Group,
You
not
either want it
you.
or
I
you
didn't
don't
take
want
a
it.
group fitness class till I was 34 years old because I was embarrassed to walk through the door.
Well, yeah.
I will do a fitness class now every week, every day, except for step. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't do that.
Can I ask why you were
don't
embarrassed?
accept
For what
myself.
reason?
Well, I was telling him the other day. So I had stage fright growing up to a big degree.
And you want to go
And
into a group
class.
Yeah.
Other people are judging you. There's other people in the class.
Yeah.
You've never done it, so
Right.
you don't know. And
Yeah.
so one day I just did it. I was like, I'm going.
Yeah.
And I think it was Pilates.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was fine. And now I go to all of them except for step because I'm spinning. They're going the other way, and I'm like, I can
So
dance
we do
too. I don't know
everything
what's
we
wrong with me.
can.
on
Like,
that.
I'm not trying to plug my gym, but we do everything we can to make sure people like you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I will talk to
I
you
believe
5
it.
times before you come to the gym.
I believe
But
it.
here's the thing. There is not a person you'd meet in my life that ever go, Mandy's scared of anything.
Well, they tell
But
me.
I secretly have my own
Yeah.
hang-ups that
Of
I'm not
course.
going to tell
Yeah.
you that I have those hang-ups. I'm going to
I
be
have them.
Yeah.
I'll
What
just
do you
be on
got?
the elliptical over here,
I
the
got
rower.
hang-ups.
What do you have? What are your hang-ups?
My hang-ups?
I don't know that I have any. So this is the crazy thing is I am a very opinionated person, and I'm not.
No.
Impossible.
What?
But
Really?
I'm gonna punch all of you in the face in just
At
2
the same time.
minutes. I am, and I know that I am not. Maybe most of the time I'm not correct, and I know that, but I am not afraid of.
No, you're not.
There's not
I know
much
that- I
that
know you enough
scares-
to know that.
There's not a lot. There's not a lot that scares me.
Would you skydive?
Yeah.
Have you skydived?
No.
You afraid of heights?
No, I'm not afraid of heights. My biggest thing that I've been have a problem with lately is that drop, that like a demon drop that goes straight down. The last time I did it, which was 2 years ago, I actually had not a panic attack or an anxiety attack, but I felt like my heart was left up somewhere up there and I lost it.
Yeah.
I
About
didn't know.
public speaking. Like, would you get up in front of 300 people at a podium and talk to them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
No problem.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty fearless. I mean, those are the things that generally just the average human has a huge problem doing.
I'll sing in front of you, and I will talk.
That's okay.
And
It's
whatever.
not nice. We believe you.
I will sing all day long. So my friends get mad at me when I'm, at Donnie's house or whatever, and they've got their 90s music going on, and I'm like just singing my song and doing my thing because they're all telling me to shut up. I love to entertain people. I love to make people happy and to make myself maybe look silly. Maybe I put myself in a clowny situation to make somebody else happy. I've never been, when I was younger, I was never comfortable in my own skin. Mm-hmm. I did not learn to be comfortable in my own skin until I was probably in my mid-30s, maybe my early 30s. And now I don't give two shits what anybody thinks of me, and I never have for the most part. My mom always told me to walk with my shoulders back, my head high, have my own opinions, but be respectful.
Yes.
And respect other people's opinions.
Well, you're probably sitting here with 3 other people that are very similar. I mean, you have to first off, to do a podcast and reveal anything about yourself or even talk, you have to have a certain level of acumen. You have to have some kind of understanding and confidence, some kind of self-confidence. So I think you're probably preaching to people that are probably similar to you. But we were talking about people that you had brought up, about people that had systems in their life or systematic issues in their life which are preventing them from taking action. And I want those people to get help. I do. I'm probably not qualified to give it, but I'd love them to get help. But it comes down to a decision to me. Even the decision to get help, for God's sake. You still have to make a decision to get help.
That's a hard thing to do.
No, because I guarantee
life
that
is life is hard.
Chad and I are probably going to agree on the same thing.
Life is hard.
As soon as you start motivating yourself or moving around more, you're going to feel yourself. Motion in motion
is everything, man.
Exactly.
There's
the more you
it.
move around, the
It's
more
kinetic.
you do, the more you feel better about every day. It might be a minute thing that throughout that day, just for a minute. It might be something like, oh my gosh, I feel so good about this. And then maybe you'll go fall back in 10 minutes of bullshit. But the more you move around, the more you do.
Which the quarantine hurt
Correct.
society
A big
in that regard,
time.
don't you think?
Because now we have a lot more depression. We've got more beatings. We've got more
Absolutely
abuse.
right.
We've got a whole lot of shit that's going on.
We're
More
not made
drugs.
to be. Do you believe we're made to be sedentary beings? I don't think our ancestors were sedentary. We
The
hunted
more
and
you move, the
gathered.
better you
Right.
feel. Whether you're whether you're just cleaning your house or mowing the lawn, like the more you
gotta
move, the
move.
better you
You
I'm
feel.
gonna be
move.
honest. I will find. This is the dumbest shit ever.
Think about lions. Think about where lions were 100 years ago. Where were lions at?
In the
What were lions
zoo?
doing?
No,
Tiger
they
King?
were in.
No,
100
think about like
100
where
years
lions
ago?
were in the wild, right? Like lions in the wild, right?
Okay.
We don't have any in the wild now.
Well,
Some.
since the human existence, like
I'm asking questions. I'm
since
just
the
asking
human
questions.
existence was there, where
Okay.
were lions at? Right? Compare us to lions from the time we were like there, right?
Yeah.
So we've evolved.
I've seen
to
The Lion
what?
King.
So lion is like the same thing, right?
Mm.
Hunt, kill, eat,
Yeah.
sleep, whatever. What are we now?
Procreate.
What are we? Like we were there with the lions
Is that what
when
we
they
are?
were hunting. And
Procreate.
no, but think about like how soft we became. Like
There's
we,
I'm right there with you, 100%.
Like
100%.
what the fuck
Speaking
are
of
we
soft,
now? Like
okay,
what
so-
are we now? Like what are we? I
But
don't even know what we are.
we-
We're the softest human beings
No.
on the face of the fucking earth.
We are not
Sorry.
as soft as
We're
the
pretty
kids
soft.
Our kids
Yeah, they're.
are soft.
Oh, I'm glad you're realizing this.
My kids are not soft.
Well, let's
You're
talk
catching
about
on to
I'm
this.
gonna put that out there right now.
Let's talk about this.
So
We're catching
kids,
on to this.
Kids are. So
Yeah, they're fucking
got their
soft.
iPhones, they go out their iPads.
Our
they've got their
generation's
remote-
making them
is
that way.
Well,
Kids today.
are pansies.
They can be, yeah. So, Rocco Koza, my good friend, our good
Rocco.
friend. Shout out to Rocco. We've had plenty of discussions on here about soft children, a soft generation, and I don't want to be that old guy saying, the young generation, these younger kids, I don't know what's going on with them. Although that happened to me from my parents and grandparents. But there is something to be said, I think, observationally, that right now there is a kind of a migration toward kids just taking the easier way through life. We've done that as parents. I mean, I'll take the blame. Sometimes under the guise that we want a better life for our kids than we had. Well, my life wasn't that bad. At times, I think what we're doing is we're unintentionally softening up our kids.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's going to serve them well when they graduate. Well, I'm going to find out now because mine's at graduation age and beyond. But but I think generally speaking, we at times, I'm hopeful I'm wrong because I have a lot of faith in this generation intellectually. I think they're going to do amazing things. The generations below me, but I can see some issues, and I'm sure in your line of work you probably see it too. That the things are really easy. They like easy. We've given them easy.
So
am I right or wrong?
I have 2 little boys. I mean, one's 20 months, so
That's little.
he's doing his thing. He knows no, so we're good there. The older one, that's as far as we're at.
Not while I'm drinking, please.
He knows no. Like you're like, no, don't touch that. I mean, sometimes he still does. Okay, you're right. So anyway, but the older one, I think the biggest thing is I want to set an example, him see by what I'm doing. And, we do positive sticker charts. We do that kind of thing. But more importantly, I try to make him responsible for at least putting his stuff away and taking his stuff to the garbage. But parents don't necessarily do that. I've watched my friends just, serve their kids and, clean up after their kids. And I'm like, well, then they're never going to, do it for themselves. And these are much older. Mine's 5. I'm like, you're going to start early. You're going to have a clean room and you're going to have, try to pick up your toys, put your stuff away. And, they're little, obviously, so you can't do too much in terms of making them hard kids. But I think there definitely has to be a balance with responsibility and that you need to set that very early in life so that they continuously, it's not like surprise. You're 10 years old and you're like, well, now you have to do every chore in this house. And they're like, what just happened?
Yeah, how did that change, though? When or what era did that change and why did it change? And
I think because moms went back to work. So they weren't seeing their moms do, all the responsibilities around the house and them having to help because they had 4 to 5 children. So they're at daycare, elementary school, and they're doing their thing. Mom's doing their thing. They whip together a meal, clean up. Mm-hmm. There's just not, they don't see their parents doing that as much.
We need an old school contest.
But I mean,
what is the old school way of doing it? What
beat
were your
your
kids
ass.
doing old
That's
school?
what I do. I don't do timeout. So.
No, what did we used to do? We should challenge our kids this day.
Always
go
challenge
do
your
this.
kids.
Yeah.
Drink out of a hose.
Drink out of a hose.
So that's the
2
thing.
points if you drink out of a hose.
Right. But see,
It
my
almost
kids still
tasted
do
shitty,
that.
though.
So my son will get up in the middle of the night, and he doesn't I have bottled water by my.
Do you stand by the hose and pour the bottled water to give them the experience?
I will not.
Without
But
the lead?
I did.
That's
teach,
a good idea.
I did teach my kid how to go like this and let the faucet run in the bathroom and drink at a young age, and that's what he does at nighttime. If he wakes up at nighttime, he goes into the bathroom, pours up the faucet, and drinks the thing. It's the same thing like my kids used to pee outside.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And just play in the dirt and be dirty, and they know that you don't get a medal unless you work for it. So I will agree that when you're a young kid up until the age of 6, you should get a medal because it shows you appreciation of what you're doing for that sport. At that point in time, though, you need to work for that goal, and you need to work for that medal, and you need to work for that first place and so forth. Mm-hmm. If you don't teach your kids to work for things, they're never going to figure out how to move up in the world and to be better and to keep going and to keep striving and to do all those things. Sophia she played soccer. Her average goal per game was 8 points herself. Mm-hmm. And I was that mom that said, you don't let anybody get in the way, and you hit, because it was at that time it was a tie score, and I turned around and I said, so listen to me. At this point in time, if you want first place, you're going to have to really be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying hurt anybody, and I'm not saying whatever.
You got to want it.
But you got to want to have that win.
Yeah, it's true.
And she won that win, and she got the goal, but she ran right through the goalie.
Why am I not surprised?
and I was that mom that looked really bad at that point in time because I told her I'd give her $10 if she scored that goal.
Hey, I almost got a red card in indoor soccer.
But
right there with her.
She did now, mind you, she knelt as soon as it happened and she apologized. But I don't teach my kids to be aggressive to be bad. I teach my kids to be aggressive to be
Strong.
the best, to be stronger, to be, the best that you can do with whatever it is you're doing,
Right.
whether it's, football, baseball, soccer, gymnastics, whatever it is. And if you can't excel in that, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's not your thing. Go to the next thing. My kids are very versatile in everything that they do, eat, sleep, whatever it is. They have done everything. But if you start something, you have to finish it.
Yeah, and you haven't
can't-
overprotected them. See, and I think it comes down to there's a protection element to this whole thing too. Like where
You gotta
parents,
get hurt.
The helicopter parents, whatever theme,
Okay,
whatever
at
catchwords.
parks,
you know?
I'm totally the helicopter.
Wait, what?
I'm getting better. But they scare me. My 20 month is up on the tall slide, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Your
He's
kid will
gonna-
never drive a car.
My kid, hey, Michael.
Seriously, your
It
kid will never
scares
drive
me.
a car.
I mean, my mom
Isn't that
tuition
scary?
goes into full effect, and I'm like, I gotta get up there. I'm running up the slide, pushing over
That's
4-year-olds,
great. That is
5. No,
that's
I don't do
scary.
that
That's
part.
great.
No,
That's
but he's
scary.
20 months. He has no capacity to
But he'll
like.
never drive a car.
Why?
I can show you pictures
What do you
of
mean
my
why?
kids doing.
It'll be all electronic by the time he's
Right.
able.
I can show you pictures of my 2
Isn't that
and my
crazy?
4-year-old doing
That's
a
crazy.
swing
Like, your
They'll be
kid will
good at
never
that.
drive a car.
in the
I don't
yard.
know.
A swing, like a rope
Yeah.
vine swing.
6-year-olds right now will never drive
Going.
a car.
But that's and again,
And there's no harness. They're just holding on at 2 and 4 years old.
and guess what?
Swinging.
And
Oh,
guess
they're
what? That's
crazy.
But
I
that
mean-
stuff is achievement based. When you do little things in life like that,
No.
they
I got-
feel like they accomplished something.
People
which
probably think
leads
I'm
to the
nuts
next
for
thing,
posting that
and
stuff.
to the next
Yeah.
thing, and to the next thing. If you
Look.
insulate them, and plop them in front of a TV, and in
Like
front of
powder?
a video game or a tablet, if everything, you have to have some kind of motion, and you have to have some kind of achievement.
You know what we need to do?
My 2 older, or
We need
my
to have
boys.
Sophia be the next Ninja Turtle girl. The next ninja thing. You need to train her.
Wait, who was the first
Warrior.
one? That's what I want to know.
My 2 boys are in-house cage fighters. Like, they are incredible.
Jesus
They beat me
Christ.
up. I come in. I am, I work for a chamber of commerce. I've done a ribbon cutting with dignitaries that day, and I walk in my
How old are they?
2 and 5.
5 and 20 months.
I
I walk
should
in. Within 2 seconds, my hair is like strewn across my face. I have boogers down my dress. I'm being thrown on the floor. I'm like, guys, I at least have to go up and change into regular clothing before you clobber me. I mean, they're being funny and cute, but they're strong and they like jump off furniture. I'm like, oh my gosh, like guys, just
Parenting
but they're
done right.
boys. They're boys.
Parenting done right.
My son
gonna train him.
is 6'2",
They get me.
and he's 16,
Train.
Yeah.
Ouch.
and we still wrestle.
Yeah.
And he can't pin me yet.
I believe it.
He's getting there. He's getting pretty.
I
So
believe it.
so my problem is I teach my kids to lock legs,
Around the body.
and I'm gonna have to keep some of the secrets to myself at some point.
Around
in
the
time.
body, lock legs.
Correct.
Suffocate air.
And correct. But so the crazy thing is, he is probably stronger than me. And I don't know if he takes it easy on me because he doesn't seem to. Because I've gotten away with
Probably.
some black and blue. I'm gonna say no.
Probably.
I'm gonna say no.
I had a black eye from Moana doll last
But
month.
my
on,
kids
what?
Just
are.
part of,
Let's talk about this.
yeah, thrown
How'd
right in
that
my
happen?
eyeball. My
How'd that
5-year-old's like, I mean, it was like hard plastic, and I definitely had a shiner.
I've gotten that from my dog, not from my kids.
I'm gonna have to put some makeup. I'm just gonna put makeup and go to my networking event tomorrow.
So we can't do that.
Oh, you can.
Yeah, you can.
They have makeup for boys, not to.
We can
just
do
put
it.
out there.
Just call us.
They have makeup for boys, Eric.
Yeah, I went through the 80s. Don't worry. I know.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean,
But getting back to the subject, I think kids are more soft at this point as opposed to when we were kids.
But it's our fault.
We used to no, my kids are not soft. So this is the
I mean,
problem
we're
with
talking
me.
our generation in general.
I have taught my kids. So when you go to school,
Everyone is
and
soft.
I'm not soft.
You're
Shut up.
soft.
I'm not soft. Do
You're
not
pretty
kick your
soft.
ass.
We're all soft. Everyone's
We are.
soft.
We are in a sense, in a
Eric
certain way.
McKenna runs a beautiful podcast on here. This is the definition of not being soft.
Like, what do you
Okay.
mean?
This is the definition of like going out for your goals, doing what you want to do.
Oh, I have a lot of
achieving-
fears, though. I have a lot of things I
Yeah,
haven't achieved.
but achieving this,
Yeah,
man.
I'm soft
Everyone
in
else
ways.
is soft.
What are you
I call my
afraid of?
members soft all the time. They're like,
I
what do
think
you mean? I'm
I think
like,
I have an element.
I think
I
everyone's
think I have an
soft.
element of failure. I have a small amount of fear of failure. Always have. I struggle with that.
So if you fail, so what?
Well,
bounce back up and then you-
I generally feel that way. But there's, I mean, I'm not without fault. I'm not without fault.
You know what my biggest fear is? My biggest fear is I
Failure?
can't. Do what?
Failure
No. It's not failure because
should be.
No. Because I don't fail at anything. Hardly. I'm going to put that out there.
I know, she's good.
No, it's not that. I do not fail at a lot of things. My biggest fear is if I cannot pay my bills and I cannot take care of my kids.
Yeah.
That's
my
awesome. That's
biggest
awesome.
fear.
That's deep shit right there.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Now we're getting real.
That's honest.
Natalie.
That's good.
It is the biggest fear that I've ever had.
No, I get
because
that.
every
I get
year
that.
I think about these stupid things like,
Yeah. I
oh
get
my
that.
gosh, if I lose my job this, if I lose my job that.
Yep.
And this is horrible, and I know I'm horrible at this. I am a badass mom, and I'm tough on my kids,
Yeah.
but my cupboards are so loaded.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
It
You
is
got
Oh, I
food.
know.
Ridiculous.
I know.
Like, I'm so afraid we're not going to have enough food for some reason
like,
or
how
whatever
many-
else. How many
How
more
many
treats?
18 boxes of this? Like,
You're not
I
alone.
could literally feed my
That's
children
horrible.
You're not alone.
out of my cupboards for 3 months straight.
Right.
And then I go to the grocery store and I buy more stuff. I'm like,
Right.
okay, just
I am
keep
not
putting
so,
it in there. They're going to
For-
have full, like, food forever.
Yeah.
For me, I am grateful for everything I have done wrong in my life to put me where I'm at now, to know where I
It's
need
awesome.
to be.
That's amazing.
And I've gone through marriages.
Yeah.
I will never regret anything I've ever done. My ex-husband is probably one of the best people that I know.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
He is.
I
He
know.
is a fantastic dad. He is
Right.
an awesome friend. And the only thing I've ever regretted in my life is maybe not pushing myself hard enough in certain things that I might have wanted to do. But I think I've given those things up more so for my kids to stay at home so
Sure.
that I
Yeah.
can
Sure.
take
Yeah.
care of
I've
them
done
at that
That's
time.
good.
Then you shouldn't regret it then.
I don't. I don't regret that. My biggest problem is I'm so afraid that next
What are
year
you
is going
afraid
to
of?
come along.
Let's do that. Like, what are you afraid of? Let's do this.
That
Like,
I
what
lose
is
my
everyone so
house.
afraid of? Because I hate that.
that I lose my
question.
house, that I might not be able to pay my bills.
That's your biggest
That
fear?
my kids might get sick. It's not about me. It's about them. It's about
Yeah.
taking care of them. What if for some
They're not-
reason
I
And
mean-
we can't speak to that
take
because
care of them?
there's. I think it's innately different between men and women. Now, granted, there might be a father that loses the wife, and they're the sole support for the child. They may understand it somewhat and may have those similar fears,
Yeah.
but a mother's fear for their children is different than a father's fear.
Yeah.
It just is,
Oh,
and there's no
100%,
way
yeah.
that you and I will ever understand
Definitely.
that.
Yeah.
I get it because I have fears of anything happen to my children. I mean, that's the thing that just. And I a slight fear of failure on occasion. I
I
really
get
don't
it.
care,
Yeah.
but I do not like. I am afraid of being misunderstood in a portion of my life. I've always had a fear of that, or being accused of something that I genuinely did not do. I've been accused of many things that I have done, and sometimes you reluctantly admit it. It's not pleasant. But when you're accused of doing something in a bad way that you genuinely did not do, there's no way to, quote unquote, defend yourself.
Right.
Why not?
No.
Why defend yourself at all?
Well,
you know you didn't do
that
anything
would
wrong.
that would be a better way of living. But you're asking me what my fears are and what I struggle with. That's what I struggle with. I struggle with being accused of doing things. Not often, but occasionally throughout life, I've been accused of doing things that and I'll own up to anything. It's not always pleasant when you're accused of doing something you did.
Yeah.
But that's one thing. But when you're accused of doing something, especially something horrid that you honestly did not do, and not being able to convince parties,
It's
the
the
afflicted
story
parties
of
to
my
believe.
life.
It
really is.
I think that's that. If I worry about anything, sometimes I think about that with my clients, and to be perceived not to be a good realtor, or to be based upon something that isn't factually true, that bothers me. It doesn't happen very often, but the concept that may be happening Maybe I should blow it off, but I don't. I take the perception of my work integrity very seriously, and maybe too seriously. But that's
but
that's
the
what
people
I fear.
that know you, and that's
Yes.
the thing. So this is what my mom always
Yes.
told me: don't ever worry about what somebody thinks of you, because if somebody thinks something bad of you, most likely something happened to them to make them
Absolutely.
think that way.
It's a reflection of
that's true,
themselves.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and I'm not. I used to be very, very insecure when I was young.
Yes.
Oh my God, in the worst way.
Mm-hmm.
In the worst way. I didn't get my security till I was probably in my 30s. And let me tell
You're
you
probably
something.
not alone there.
There is
No,
nobody
I was
right
the
now
same.
that I feel that is ever going to be better than me or prettier than me or whatever it is. Because you know what? You're the same as me. I'm the
Yeah.
same as you. You're
That's
not
right.
going to be better than me.
That's right.
And the crazy thing for me is that there are people out there that there's a I don't know if you all listen to K-Love. There's a song called That Their Words Hurt. Listen to it. It is, and Sophia listens to, so I teach my kids to listen to K-Love. I'm a very Christian-oriented person for the most part. I'll F-bomb you in a heartbeat, but I still go to church. It's a thing for me. But I think that anybody that thinks that they're better than somebody else has got a stick up their ass that is so sideways that is ridiculous to me, because at the end of the day, we're all going to be judged the same
That's
way.
right.
Yeah.
And whether you make $400,000, you make $1 million, you make $5 billion.
Thanks.
I know, right? I put that out there for you just because I know you.
In the scale of the room, that probably was pretty accurate.
Realistically, though,
I wish.
no one is better than anybody else.
Yeah, it's an artificial construct.
It is just crazy to me that people think that way. That you think that.
That's been going on since the creation, since the
But it's
dawn
insane.
of
Well,
man.
I agree with you. I was super insecure for a very long time about everything from, we talked about hair the other day, everything. And in my 20s, I was trying to fill this. I wanted to find, I'm super hopeless romantic. I want to find love. I want to find love. I want to find love.
Everybody
I'm
does.
dating this, I dated a bunch of guys, some really good, some not so good, everywhere in between. But still, it was like this missing spot that I was looking for. And then I had my first son. And I was sitting in his rocking chair in his room.
And you found your first
And I
love.
went, there it is. I go, that's what I was looking for the whole time. And then I had my second son. And there is no difference between the way I love those two. And I'm very particular about showing them both how much I love them, even though they're completely different, but
Right.
at the same time, a lot alike. But it was those two that I was looking for. And I pretty much wasted a whole bunch of time in my 20s, which I think we all do. But at the same time, I found myself
100%.
through them. And they've been my biggest motivator to do better in my career. They've been my biggest motivator to do everything better because I want to do it for them, and they make me so happy. And, they're just two great little kids. But at the end of the day, the career doesn't matter. Figure skating doesn't matter. I always say figure skating. All of that stuff really doesn't matter. It's just those two kids. That, I could go anywhere, get a big house, get a little house, get a big
Right.
car,
As
get
long
a
as
little
you're a
car.
family
as
and
long
work
as we're
together. Right.
together, that's what matters at the end of the
Agreed.
day. Because that is my heart.
Right.
And I go, there's nothing else that
But
matters.
make sure you teach your heart to be strong, and make sure you teach them to be independent, because a lot of
Absolutely.
people, and I've seen it throughout my kids' school district, and I feel that I'm not social. So the problem is, for me, I am not a socially correct person,
Yeah.
and I've gotten called that Michael swung. Well, why did Michael swing? Well, the kid bothered him the day before. Well, I told Michael that if this kid keeps picking at you, the first
Yeah.
time is a freebie, the second time is not. And that's how I think. The first time is always going to be a freebie. The second time, it's over. Done and over with. I teach both my kids that, both my son and my daughter. The first time somebody hits you, that's a freebie. The teachers don't do anything, on them. The second time, you
Yeah.
knock them out.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's how I think. Because if that keeps happening, then that's where bullying starts, and that's where depression starts, and that's where whatever starts. And I'm not that person. But I also teach my kids to always take the underdog. If
Amen.
someone's being picked at, you
Amen.
stick up for that person. I don't care who it is. If that person's a geek and you think he's a geek or whatever it is, you don't know what they're going through. You don't have any idea what's going on. You stick up for that person. Just like I told my kids.
But you also have to think if you have a bully, or if there's a bully, what's going on in his life that makes him the bully.
Right,
Yes.
but the problem is if no one teaches that bully to stop bullying.
Well, they're not getting taught at home.
Correct.
That society has a
And then
responsibility
maybe
to teach
somebody
them.
needs to figure out whether the school needs to have someone check what's
me.
going on
Yeah.
or
That's me.
you're what?
So the gym program, now we start everything like no bully program. Everything we do,
Is no bullying.
no bully.
It's fantastic.
So, like we're running these no bully programs. Every kid that comes into my program, and we see them all. We see all the kids. Like we go to the North Fayette camps, Finland camps, Imperial camps, Montour camps. We're going all of them when we're starting a no bullying campaign. Like no way, not allowed to do it.
And that isn't that
bully.
interesting? That's the one problem that is impervious to any generation. The bullying that happens today, it's more in the media.
Mostly.
It was around 10 years, 20 years,
It's
30
been around
years,
here
40 years,
forever.
50 years.
There's
It's always been happening. It's
There's
always been happening.
bullying at every level, at every age.
But you can't
every
defend yourself
adults are.
nowadays.
All right, friends, I want to wrap this up. I have one last question before we close this down.
Make it a good one.
It's going to be a good one.
All right.
It's going to be a good one.
Okay.
Ooh, should I do this one or not? I don't know.
Yes.
Bob does
The
not
answer is
exist.
yes. Just do it, please.
Should I leave the room before
I don't
this
know.
starts?
Sorry,
No,
the worst
why?
conversation ever.
Well, I don't
Let's
have
go.
to answer if I don't know.
All right,
No,
go
that's
ahead.
right. No. I like to get the feeling of an understanding of this because it's so wild and such a taboo subject that people are afraid to answer. So we're going to see.
Great.
You ready? Are you ready?
I'm not
Bring
going to
it
be
on.
answering
There we
this
go.
question.
Let's go.
Are we alone?
Oh,
In the
goodness.
universe?
Are we alone?
Nope. That's easy. Next question.
I think there's definitely paramecia on the
There
other
is something.
planets.
There is something going on
You might
here.
have to give me a definition 'cause I don't even know what the hell that
what
is.
paramecia?
Do you know the only reason I know this?
I have no idea what that is.
There's one-celled organisms
amoebas.
elsewhere. Amoebas, paramecia. Okay, so I
Paramecia.
was reading the Magic School Bus with my son about
Magic
microbes.
school bus.
So my son was telling me how in 110 years we can go to this other planet that's like Earth, but it has twice the gravity.
Yeah,
Just
okay, like
FYI,
it's
but it has-
Would
illusion.
you wait into a gym person? Would that mean that you'd weigh more and you'd have to work out? You would do great.
Yes.
That,
Okay,
you would
so-
do great.
Exactly what that
Planet
Do we
sweat.
believe? Let's go back
Are
to
we
the question.
alone?
Are we alone?
In this
I do mean
universe,
that.
are we
I do
alone?
think there has to be at least like a one-cell organism
we are not.
outside, especially because there's water
Have you
found
been
on
to
other
Midland,
planets.
PA? If you've been to Midland, PA, you know that we are not alone.
Midland, like Beaver Midland? Like Beaver?
We are definitely not alone, but I didn't know how to go to Midland to figure
Sorry.
it out.
I don't know.
That was great. I'm sorry because Midland's just
Andy,
What? Well, I just said. I think there has to be at least
Microscopic or
amoeba.
bacteria based, right?
Do I think there's green alien type
Okay,
creatures?
let me ask you a question, Eric.
No, I don't.
Do you believe
I don't
in
know.
science
No idea.
or the Bible?
Ooh.
Yes.
that's a tough question.
I'll just
Since
say
you
yes.
don't think we're alone.
You
Let's
should
go.
just record this.
I believe in science of the Bible. I think that they are
Or
both.
both.
I think they are both the same.
Right.
I think that science is a man-made construct with God-given ability. If we were not put here by some creator, and you can call him Buddha, call him God, call him whatever you want, but some creator put us here, and through our gifts of intelligence, we figured out science and how to maneuver our life through science. So I think it's the same thing. I don't know.
Cool.
I don't know. It's just
Very
me.
well said.
I could be wrong. And I'm not copping out here. I don't think it's an either-or question for me. It can be for a lot of people. Atheists, people that don't believe anything, believe in science.
I worship you.
People that simply,
I'm like, whoa.
no
Guys.
one worships
Oh.
me.
You gotta get
No, what you just said, I was like, boom.
No, I
Got him.
no. I just think that
Got him.
that's all. I don't know. She's breaking, busting stuff up. God,
Where did this
unbelievable.
come from?
It was on your mic. It's good.
Got him.
You can leave it there.
I didn't even get one of those. Oh,
Yeah,
here
those
it
two
is.
mics don't have it, I don't think.
I got one at the base.
That's all. I don't know. It sounds like a cop-out, but I think they're both interchangeable.
That's just a very eloquent
mean-
way of putting it.
This young man over here referred a book to me called Shantaram. It was written in 2004 or 6. I can't remember.
Wow.
It is the longest book I ever found myself reading and listening to. I think it's on the scale of War and Peace in terms of volume. But it is the single best novel I've ever engaged in. And in that book, a lot of those questions are talked about. This is a fugitive from Australia who lives in India, immerses himself in the Indian culture, and the experiences and the people he met is all intertwined in this novel. But one of the things that's addressed is the spiritual leaders were not just esoteric. They were based upon science, and the lectures that were given blended the esoteric with the science, and it all just made sense to me. It was so strange listening to this novel, but what was being intertwined by the author made so much sense to me that they're in congruence. They're not at odds, I believe. Whatever. There you go. There you have it.
That was 100% the best monologue I've ever seen in my entire goddamn life. That was 100% the best shit I've ever seen ever. That was amazing. Oh my god.
Dude. Send the checks. 911 Ridge Avenue.
Okay, so Shantaram is by far the best book you will ever read on humanity.
He's
Humanity, right?
He's not right.
What?
He's right.
Is
He's
he
right.
really?
He's right.
Humanity. On
And I've read a
Humanity.
lot.
He read.
Okay, for
that
those of
book
you
and said
women out
it was
there
the
that
best.
love a good romance, mystery, sexual novel,
Wow.
listen to Laura Lee. She has
Sidney Sheldon.
No,
A Stranger in the Mirror.
Lee or Lori Foster is the best book without porn. that
I'm
you can
sorry.
read.
I'm
Sexy
into.
voice, come on.
Hi. So I'm into Bridgerton right now with the
Wait,
Roger.
what?
I heard that was really bad. I heard that was really bad.
What? I watched it like 3 times. I can't get enough.
I mean bad in like good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like,
Roger.
what do you mean bad but good?
Oh,
He is.
it's all
a
about
very.
Like a Sidney Sheldon novel.
Yeah,
Look.
no, Sydney. No, it's like
he touches
Shit.
her hand in this art gallery, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the hottest. Like, it's the little. Oh, it's great, and the book is going along with the. Oh my goodness, wow.
I don't know.
really.
Yeah, it's just you. If you haven't seen the series,
He gave hand.
No,
this is all I have.
was more like
and
this.
I'm actually, which I haven't done since
Well,
I
it
was
was like-
7. I'm supposed to be chronologically reading the Bible, which I haven't
What
done
happened?
to read it.
You have not read the Bible.
I haven't since I was like 7 years old.
How many times have you read the Bible?
I have read most of it, but not the last. So I read Acts. After Acts,
Sinner.
what's after Acts? I'm gonna fuck you up.
Now, did you do it?
As she talks about the Bible, she talks
I
about
don't
everyone.
read. I don't read like the original. So I read a
Sorry.
New Generation Bible, which is so much easier to understand because I cannot do thou, thus, the. I can't
hard.
spit to myself while I'm reading.
Like
So
the King James is pretty dry.
it is all very. So I think the Old Testament compared to the New Testament and stuff like that, like I believe are. So people are always like, "Oh my God, I've done this and I've
Jesus
sinned and
Christ.
blah blah blah." But I think that everything is compared to today's day, and I think that everyone's like the Old Testament has nothing to do with today's day. I think God is a very forgiving God. He goes by our own
Oh, he must have a sense of humor.
changes. He has to have.
Have you been to Midland?
He has to, have you seen our president? Our stuff that's going on
Our
politically?
politicians?
Yes,
He's got to have a sense of humor.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, the crazy thing is, I think that we live on this fantabulous earth that we're destroying a little bit here and there, and we've got our hatred going on. And the crazy thing is, we could be this wonderful place.
If we got attacked by aliens, we would become that place. Humans would get together.
Paramecia.
Paranesia.
No, but if we were attacked in a vicious way that would threaten our existence, I think humans would come together to fight that off. And if we were successful,
I think-
you may have new peace after that.
I think there's always going to be arguments. There's always going to be strife. There's always going to be happiness. As a human species, we're always trying to achieve happiness and get rid of strife, but there's always going to be both elements because people are generally different. And you're always going to have that.
But-
Or else we wouldn't be human.
And we don't celebrate those differences. We actually fight about them, which is
Depends on who you are.
insane to me.
I think you're swell.
Thank you. Likewise. I think you're all pretty swell.
But did you notice
agree.
that the majority of the people that can agree to disagree will agree to whatever's going on? And the people that just want to disagree are the assholes in life that are trying to change everybody else's mind,
Right.
saying that you are like the fucking Satan or whatever else. I mean, I've been called, I don't even know what.
Ugh.
And the crazy thing is, they don't even know who I've voted for, what I've done, what I live with, or what's going on in my life. But all of a sudden I'm Satan because you think that I have a different political aspect or maybe religious aspect, different of opinion of whatever is going on. Have you lost your mind? Because come over here in Pittsburgh and tell me that in person and see what happens to your face.
I don't think humans are there. I don't think we are our decisions. I think that we make a decision at a period in time in life, or we don't. But the choice to make a decision or not is at a certain period in life. And you're not defined by that decision because 30 days, 2 hours, 30 years from now, your mind, your experiences could cause you to look completely
right.
differently. And so how can you define a human? You know, we
Humans are flawed.
we
I mean,
punish people based upon a decision. They
We
do something
make
so horrid.
mistakes.
You put them in jail, and they need to be. So then maybe his future was defined by his or her actions if he goes to jail, and I think it's necessary. But in terms of who you are as a person, it's impossible to give you a lifetime definition based upon how you feel about something today. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, you evolve as a
Absolutely,
person.
absolutely.
And you make mistakes and you make great things happen and
Of course.
nobody's going to be perfect.
Do you
at
know how
all.
many mistakes I've made in my life? Almost every
At least
single
3
day.
or 4, right?
At least almost every day I've made some kind of something. Every day.
I thought the lawnmower battery was totally not charged. And I've only used it once before. And then I've remembered an hour and a half later that there was a little key I had to put in. And I go, mistake.
I just look at it this way.
That
If
was
you
my-
don't make
You
mistakes,
have to
you
make
don't
mistakes.
learn
Yes.
from life lessons. I have made so
Amen.
many mistakes. And I'm going to tell you something right now.
Amen.
I'm going to keep
Absolutely.
making mistakes. And my kids are going to make mistakes. And I'm going to be there to help them, to
Yep.
pick it up, to pick up the pieces. And
the biggest thing
Because
is to
you're
say,
engaged in life.
I love life. Life is
Give-
fantastic.
Amen. And there needs to be more people that can admit what you just said. I think you ask anybody to give them an option outside of the very depressed, small sliver of people that really do want to take their life. You ask anyone, you can live 5 minutes from now or you can die. I think that people are generally going to take the life thing, So you do love life. People love
here's the
and
thing.
cherish, as they should, their lives.
You will
Admit
be
that.
happy.
Admit that.
You will be happy again. No matter what you're going through, you definitely
Give them a cookie.
You will.
Half the population's addicted to carbs. Give them a cookie. They'll be happy.
A donut while you
Or
spin.
a donut. Give them a donut.
I have Krispy Kremes at my house.
Can you tell us more about the
I bought the
donut variety?
Well, so this is the problem. I saw them earlier today,
Let's go.
and I bought them for my kids for in the morning because I thought and then I saw the whole, and I just wanted to eat it, and so I had one before I came.
How
But I loved it.
Dare
it was
you.
fantastic.
own it, girl? Own
And
it.
tomorrow I'm
You
not
have
even going
to.
to do extra cardio just to get rid of the
No, you let that stick.
I love it.
Sell
Friends,
you light.
I want to thank you all.
Thank you.
This was a blast. Did you have fun?
I
I
did.
love
This
it.
I
was
had
a
a great time.
blast.
I'm coming back,
Blast.
just FYI.
I hope you come back because
I'm coming
because
back.
you all will be invited back, and I hope
Good.
when you do and your numbers up, I hope you come. Hope you come back and love to have you. All right,
Bob will.
Thank you, Eric.
you're very welcome.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks. Yeah.
They came and drank all my liquor.
I drank.
not true.
I drank
drank
water
There's water in this cup. See, it's clear.
with an 8.88
And
pH.
Chad is absolutely here to tell you that 29-year-old Scotch goes down smooth, doesn't it, pal?
It goes, that was the best drink I ever had, buddy.
Friends, we are.
So we got
Get hand.
we got to do a picture.
We'll do a picture. We're out.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Be safe.
See ya.
Hello, you're listening to the Eric McKenna Project.